and welcome to our special edition of Smashbox TV's podcast. It's a birthday boy podcast. I'm joined here in our Santa Cruz studio by Nate Dawson, birthday boy.
I'm doing fantastic.
So how many years around the sun before it goes down? Tell me how many years around the sun you're at.
It's officially 42.
Okay.
And most people are surprised when they hear that, but it's more like 31 actually too. So yeah, 31 years around the sun, and couldn't ask for a better day. It's beautiful here in Santa Cruz. Got to play some disc golf with my friends. So
Almost every day is a beautiful day here in Santa Cruz, though.
yeah, you know, we get some so-so ones here every once in a while, but at this time of year, May is personally my favorite month. Clearly, I was born in May, but it really is. It's very nice around here at this time of year.
And it was no secret that last year, the final day of the Masters Cup was taking place on your actual birthday. Paul Macbeth had to ruin it for you, but it's always great because there's the celebration of your birthday, and then the Masters Cup itself is just 31 years old as well. So kind of a coincidence?
You know, it's kind of interesting that it kind of does work out all that way, but you know, hey, they had it in the, you know.
Oh boy, live.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Nate. Happy birthday to you.
I'll try and move this a little bit.
Oh, thank you guys.
I
Wow.
hope everybody can see that.
Yeah. Take
42, dude.
Oh, that's right.
Guys, cut it up.
Wow, thanks, guys.
Yay,
You cut it up. You cut it up.
Stay at the beach.
Yeah, I got 42 gray hairs.
Cake, that's my favorite flavor. All right, well, wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
Man, I love these guys.
And the whole world got to see it. Few weeks ago, Eagle Masters 18 years old.
Exactly. What is it? I mean, luckiest guy in the world.
I am. What I wouldn't give. All right. So this week you've gotten here to Santa Cruz. You're obviously prepping for one of the most fun events of the year, right on your home course, your old stomping grounds, right where you grew up literally miles from here. It's got to be kind of an exciting homecoming every year to be back there.
You know, it really is. You know, moving to Oregon, like, you know, three and a half years ago, it was a big moment for both Val and I. Certainly for me, moving out of my hometown. I've lived here my whole life. You know, I spent 27 years here. But it really just made it sweeter to come back for the Masters Cup. And one thing that was really tough for me was, you know, I knew the course so well. I played it so well. And every time I'd get into the tournament, I would get into that, you know, that moment of being, you know, really right there for the chance to win. And it seemed like the guys who just played it every once in a while had a fresher look. And it's been really kind of a new thing for me to deal with, coming in here just for a couple of weeks a year. And, you know, I do visit in the fall, see my family, but it really is a great homecoming. It's great to see everybody, say hi to everybody, and get to play the course that I love so much. So.
And we're a little bit of a spoiler here, and that's what we love to do on Smashbox. This weekend, the course is different. And one thing that's different is you guys aren't finishing on top of the world. And there's been a lot of talk about it. And we love our controversy. We love our conversations, and we love change. But there's talk about it. You're going to be finishing up on a portion of the ball golf course this weekend. Yeah.
So, you know, that when I first heard it, T, I mean, I do got to tell you, and to be completely honest, it was like, whoa, we're not finishing at De La, but I really got to hand it to Braden, the new TD. He's taken the reins, he's ran with it, and really sometimes, you know, you just have to really appreciate people that are willing to work so hard to see a new vision, a vision that they see possible. And really, you know, I'm gonna love the 2 rounds that we play, the first and second round, and I'm really looking forward to playing on the ball golf course. You know, I've played De La 1,000 times or however many hundreds of times, and every time you go to the course, there's only one way to get there, and it's driving through that ball golf course. I actually played high school golf, competition golf on that course. I played the ball golf course many a times, so it'll be really cool to throw some discs on it and just have that new blood coming in. I think is really cool. But Steady Ed will be shining down on us and really thinking about us, and I think it's gonna be a great weekend. Absolutely.
Well, and one of the exciting things as we were here for the Daisy Chains this weekend, we got to visit a bar or brewery just down the road from Pinto.
Yep.
And the story there, as you know, goes, how does that go with the Steady Ed office?
Yeah. So the story goes like this. It's currently a brewery called Corlitos Brewing Company. A really cool brewery, actually. They're doing some really cool, fun beers, and they have a beer called the Steady Ed Red. And that beer is really named after because DGA as a company making baskets was there's a long kind of starting story to that, but they were in Lakeport. Tom Schott told Steady to come down, be in Santa Cruz. He was in Santa Cruz for 6 months, a year, whatever it was. And then he moved down to this location in Watson, just outside Watsonville, in this building. And DGA resided in this building for, I can't say exactly because I was a young person, but I would say 6 to 8 years. And I had been inside that building picking up baskets. My dad used to help out Ed. My dad eventually ended up working for Ed. And so there's just a ton of history right there. And for there to be a brewery there, I love craft beer. I want to open my own brewery one day. It's really fun to go back to a place and to have a brewery, give a little shout out to Steady Ed is really cool.
Well, and I enjoy beer, not as much as you and some of our other smashes out there. But when in Rome, I think they say, I had a Steady Ed. I had to, and it was delicious. So
it was
definitely worth stopping in there, and I think everybody else should. If you want to go out and play the Pinto Lake course and you're in that area, you need to do that. All right, Nate, we're going to cut you loose because we got to catch up with Dana. We got to catch up with some other gossip and other good stuff that's going on. And then if it's all right with you, we're going to probably bring in a multitude of people throughout the night, and we're going to be fighting some sunlight, and we'll figure that out as we go. But we should have a pretty good show here for you tonight.
Awesome.
All right, pal. Appreciate it. Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be on Smashbox for my big 3-1, however, I don't know.
Represent.
Johnny, I don't know which way you're flipping it, but 31 years and looking for 31 more good ones.
All right, we'll see you more later. Thanks, pal.
Cheers.
All right, so there you have it again. Nate Doss, the birthday boy, and Johnny. Do I hear that we've missed out on our regular, the Dynamite, for a little while? Is he back? What's going on?
Oh no, he's on screen. He's with us. He is here, Dynamite. We need to talk fast, Dana, because Terry's got like 7,000 guests, and I know how this works. I get the shaft. You get the shaft. The guests get the spotlight. I feel like it's been forever.
Not that you're not big time, Dana.
Dana is big time.
We have birthdays, and
I've got so much stuff to talk about.
Let's hear what you got.
I'm wearing my Bevel shirt. I'm drinking a nice craft beer from my friend Jerm. It's a Freak of Nature double IPA, and in Nate's honor for his birthday. Nate loves IPAs and double IPAs and all that. So happy birthday to Nate. Let's hop into it. We're short on time. There's tons of tournaments last weekend. One of the bigger events that a lot of people are not talking about is the Lake Eureka preview event. It was a Ledgestone preview event of the infamous temporary course at Lake Eureka. There's a lot of nice changes there, some really good holes. Won't get into all of it. I think there's still a few more tweaks to be made, but there are some really, really nice holes out there. Shout out to Brady Hanna from the Deuce squad for taking it down quite handily. That's actually back-to-back B tiers for Brady, a little 950. Watch out. He's coming. Over in St. Louis, Nico Locastro opts to skip out on the American Tour last minute to play in his hometown of St. Louis, and no surprise there. He won by 11 strokes. Over in the UK, Seppo Paju wins an A-tier, Euro Tour A-tier. Then our friend Simon Lazat takes a tournament down in Germany. Sounds like he's got a couple weeks off now, so I wonder if we'll start seeing some trick shots popping up from Simon. Good buddy Paul Oman. He came and played the Ledgestone event, got second. Then he went and played another B tier in Indiana and got first. So
Paul took first somewhere.
Yeah, he did.
Was it like a field of like 3?
Well, I don't know if you looked, but yes, it was a field of 3. I wasn't going to mention that, Johnny.
I was just kidding.
I'm trying to give him some shout outs like he's some sort of baller, getting disc golf rich and stuff.
He's a baller to us.
Yeah, so one more event from last weekend I wanted to holler about is Taylor Samala. He defended his Scott Pittner Memorial title tournament that was like course is maybe 10 minutes from my house. But I opted to go over to the Eureka event so I could check out the course.
Cool.
And I feel like I just said a lot, and this is like the longest Terry's been quiet. It's kind of nice.
Isn't it?
Wait a minute.
Oh, he's still there. What's up, Terry?
Nothing. No, you keep going. I love hearing all the updates. I've been crazy out here in California, so I love hearing what's going on in the rest of the world.
I feel that was only a, I think the term is so update. I think you can do better, Dana.
I mean, there's tons more tournaments to talk about. Did either of you guys? And of course, the biggest story is the women's global from last weekend.
Yep.
Is Val going to talk about that a little later? I don't want to.
Yeah, let's save that. We've got Zoe, we've got Val, but I've got Katrina who won in Utah. We've got all sorts of people here hanging out.
Wow.
So at some point we'll definitely get them in. We'll probably get Val in here so that she can give a full WGE breakdown for us.
Okay, sounds good. What else did we have last weekend? I feel like there's another.
There was one more thing on 3. Yeah, the American Disc Golf Tour. That's what it was. I recall something happening. I didn't see much about it online, but I heard that there was an event somewhere in, I think it was one of the Carolinas. I don't know.
Okay, before we get into that mess of negativity, I want to do something a little positive. I just want to thank some of the true movers and shakers out of the sport and our various tours. I'd like to thank the PDGA, Mike Downs, Media Marty, Big Dog. We've got the Disc Golf Pro Tour and Steve Dodge and his crew, the Disc Golf World Tour, UC, and his hardworking staff. Big shout out to you guys for doing what you're doing and running some awesome events and what I believe are awesome tours. So, again, thank you to the true movers and shakers out there. Now that we have that out of the way.
And I'll say this: there's a lot of people out there that are expecting some sort of big hate fest, some sort of big bashing, and I don't think they're going to get that here. If you want that, there's plenty of places out there. There's a lot of stuff. I reached out, as we all know. So the American Disc Golf Tour, for those maybe that are under a rock, not an ROC, but like a real rock.
Hey, I see what you did there.
I know. So obviously there was the big event over in, I believe it was South Carolina, where they had 11 or 12 pros, and we'll say four competitors that really had a chance to win. Ricky, Devin, Michael Joe, and Barry. And Ricky came out on top, as we saw. He made it close. For those of you that watched, he went into that round with a 7-stroke lead. At one point, I believe he took a double circle 6, and then was within 1 with like 3 holes to go. Ended up getting it down to, then he ended up getting up back 2 strokes and winning. So as far as the tour, as far as the wrap up of that particular event goes, not a lot to say. I mean,
Johnny? Go ahead. Watching it from, obviously you're doing a lot of the back end. You're doing all the back end live stuff for Smashbox TV and your live broadcasts. What was one thing that the American Tour broadcast did really good? What did you like?
I mean, no doubt the visual quality. It was crisp. It was clear. The cameras were pretty vivid. I mean, it was nice and clear. And you get that, as we all say, someone was, and I won't say who, but they were saying like, "Oh man, I hope you guys don't get compared to this. People don't realize the difference." And I think people do. This was a small section of a golf course that was cordoned off just for this 6-hole showcase, more or less what it was, and everything was wired. And you could see that. And you could see that because.
And I was going to say, let me interject. I think that's probably the number one takeaway. Not only do I agree, in fact, of course, that the video quality, what was actually on the screen, was pretty good, and that is by and large because they were literally hardwired.
Yeah, if you look in the background, you see people dragging cords and wires around.
Yeah, and I think that's critical to point out. A lot of us know, or many of you guys know, that we're relying on cell signals. That's why we're at some parks and we're not at other events, so on and so forth. We kind of talk about that a lot. And even areas within courses or parks where we have to address different things with cell signals. It's been happening since day one of disc golf broadcasting, live broadcasting. If any entity wants to hardwire an entire course or somehow be able to follow the action literally for every throw with a wired camera,
You
that
probably
could be done, and it would
150,
look that good.
150,000, I'd guess, to wire a course like that.
I mean, you could argue all day about if you're going to bury wires or if you're going to just carry them around on the ground, or I think of the challenging courses like Maple Hill. For many of you that know it, like, could you imagine stringing wires either following the players or have drops or have things buried?
Terry, hold on. They could double as out of bounds line.
There you go.
That's a great idea.
And Steve Dodge may just try and sell that wire as a sponsor too.
Yes.
I think we're onto something, boys.
Hey,
That's why we're Smashbox.
That's right.
That's why we are where we are. We show up. So, I just wanted to be crystal clear to everyone, pardon the pun, but their video quality was so incredibly clear because they were hardwired. And obviously that's not a knock on them. That's just a major difference.
oh yeah, for sure.
And
I mean, that's
I think people should realize that, because it's not fair to compare what they put onto a screen, because it was totally different technology and a totally different approach to what we've done.
well, and they did.
And that's not even to get defensive on our
No,
end.
not at all.
It's worth pointing out.
They did the exact same thing, basically, that the European Open did a year ago. They put on a large-scale production of a small section of a course because that's what's in our budget, or their budget, so to speak. We saw that. We saw that a year ago. We saw it this year with the American Tour. Now, argue left or right, who did it better? But that's what you get when you have a limited budget. And there's a reason why we're 18 holes and those are 5 or 6. I mean, think about triple whatever they put in to get that whole course. So there's that. And I'll say, when I first turned it on, I missed the first 3 minutes. But when I turned it on, my first thought was, beautiful. This looks good. I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, it was a very good picture quality. Obviously, some of the challenges they faced, we've seen them talked about and discussed at great lengths. If I had to really get into it, I would say the biggest thing that I had an issue with, and I feel okay talking about, I had an issue with the idea that, like other entities we've seen come into the market, they made some really bold predictions and promises, and flat out, I'll say, challenged us and others that have done this before, saying we're not going to make these mistakes, we're going to fix it, we're going to be better. And they were just quoted in the article literally a day prior, saying that nobody wants to watch people walking down fairways or walking up to their lives.
Yeah.
And on the very first hole, you're watching people do just that.
Yeah, and Dana, you're relatively close to this because you've been very vocal out there and whatnot. And what did you take away? Were you able to watch it?
Yeah, I don't know. I went to ESPN3 on the computer the next day, and I guess part of our cable provider, I don't know, we have Xfinity, Comcast, and I got to watch it. So
cool.
So just to be clear, let's do a service announcement quick. You can watch it for up to 30 days on ESPN3's app and their replay system. You need to be able to download that app and then log into whoever your service provider is. So I have Time Warner, for instance, at home. So I simply have to download the app, and then I type in my Time Warner credentials that I have as a Time Warner customer, and I'm able to watch it for free. There's a lot of people that haven't figured all that out, and I understand, but it is out there. It's out there for 30 days, and people can go view it as soon as they're done watching this.
You can go to ESPN3.com, go to Watch ESPN. There's a couple different ways to go about and find it. But yeah, so does anyone else have anything positive in the room to offer?
I don't know, but
Terry, like Terry was getting at, the big mistake they made, I think the biggest mistake they made, overpromise, underdeliver. That's what they did. They came out and said they were going to have the best, that it was going to be this and that, and unfortunately, they fell short of that. And I talked with, I can't say I talked with, I messaged back and forth with Chris Kilgus today, and I think he's aware of that. I think they know that it wasn't And Billy came out and said that he would grade this as like a C or a C plus based on, how things got away from him in the very beginning. And he kind of felt the tone I took from Billy was that the production company started running things, and I think Billy maybe wanted to have a little more control over it. And it's tough. Going live is tough. Go look at some of our, or don't go look at any of our early broadcasts. You'll see why. We could hear audio being overplayed other audio. At one time Barry lost his mic, and there's things you shouldn't hear, and there were things that you needed to hear that you didn't. So we had issues to say the least.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say that the C plus or whatever, that would be a little high on my end. I like you said right off the bat, the audio issues, cutting to Billy's talking to Barry, but Barry could not hear him, and so they cut to him, and he just starts talking about his own thing, doesn't answer questions, and it just was a little. There was a lot of little things, and that's just part of the game. You guys have gone through it and had a bunch of broadcasts, and as you said, go back and look at your early broadcasts, and there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be these things, and they had big ambitions for their first go round, and it didn't end up all that well, but that's my opinion.
And to further that a little bit,
furtherance that.
Sorry, thanks. The things that they missed out on, I feel like when they hired this professional production company and said that we weren't capable of it, which I wasn't offended by, they had an ESPN approved provider. It still seemed like there were a ton of hiccups that shouldn't have been happening, many of which you just alluded to, Johnny. Those things shouldn't have been happening with a professional company.
Yep.
And it's not fair to say, well, this is their first. And a lot of people are saying, well, maybe you could be easier on them because it was their first go around. Not when they talked the talk that they did. Then they shouldn't have put up the things that they did. And another interesting point, Johnny, you and I did a lot of those initial broadcasts literally with two of us.
It was
and me.
It was me
I
doing
was running
switching
a camera
and commentating.
Well, you were home, and we finally expanded to 3 people. And now most of our broadcasts consist of 4 people, one of which only came into the fold not too long ago.
Yeah.
And it's not just us compared to us to them, but it kind of disheartens me
a little bit
to hear that they spent this ungodly amount of money to try and make this happen, to say it was going to be amazing, and they just didn't deliver.
I think they
give us that money. We would knock it out of the park all day.
Yeah.
All day long. They
could have used, I'll say this, like, those things are unacceptable. Some of the misspellings in the graphics, some of the audio issues are unacceptable. I give a little bit of exception, even though it bothered me, to some of the bad camera angles. Like,
correct.
Those are things that you need to pull in, whether it's someone who has some experience with filming. It could be us, it could be Jomez, a Jamie Thomas, anybody who has experience on the course, to know where those players are going to throw, because that production company probably has no clue. They're trying to be filled in within a couple days or a week or two probably as to how a disc flies, where it's going to land, what angles you want, because there were a lot of times that you'd see a player throw, it would hang on the player for a second, then you'd get the shot in the air. I'm like, okay, cool. And then you'd lose it because you had no clue where the disc was going. And it sounded like Billy at times didn't know where the disc was going. Like, he would be, you're like, oh, that one's going looking good. And then it's like 70 or 80 feet out where they were trying to throw, because he can only see what the cameras are showing him. So that's not a rip on Billy by any means. That's Billy working with what he's given. And go ahead.
Well, I'll just say one thing that I'm not going to get too far into is, and we've talked about this countless times, is some people love Billy, some people don't. Some people love me, some people hate me. Avery, whoever. Insert any commentator there. Billy is Billy. That's who they chose to go with. I can't speak at all to any of his particulars. Again, some people love him and some people don't. It is what it is. I don't. That's so subjective. Is, I guess, my point there. I'll say I just ignore all of that, just like I ignore when people are mean to me sometimes. So I can't speak to that, but here's an opportunity to put disc golf on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave us what, six par threes that
Yeah.
range from 300 feet to 570 feet. For God's sakes, we're playing golf. Even if one's an easy par four, call it a par four.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many missed opportunities there. And clearly there was plenty of chaos going on there. And I expect that chaos when you're operating with people who have never done it before and are doing it on a shoestring budget that are introducing themselves to it. This wasn't the case. There was just so many things that shouldn't have happened. And you and I, Johnny, can be super critical in the sense that we know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm sure we picked up things others would have never thought of. And I'm sure there's viewers that picked up things that we didn't think of.
Oh, yeah. Go to the internet. There's people out there talking.
Well, there's people on the internet talking?
A few.
Okay.
Just ask Dana.
You know, I mean, and so where did they one up? I don't even want to say, again, I want to say one up. They had 3 cameras out there. Many of them were in poor angles.
I don't know. I think they probably had more than 3 out there.
They had at least 3.
At least 3. Yeah.
And they managed to get Devin's ace earlier in the week, which I think is great.
That's awesome.
They had 3 cameras and all these other audio and mic issues and whatever.
Let me interrupt you. What was up with the ace coming out on Dropbox? Like
that was I'll
day
say
later. It's like you want to.
That was kind of.
They had a golden opportunity. They've got this ESPN broadcast coming up on the next day. You get the ace out there. You get on YouTube. You get it trending. You get it to the right people at ESPN if they could even do that, and then. Yeah, it's an in for the next day. It was good footage of the ace, but it comes out like how much later on Dropbox? That was a little weird.
It was. I'll say that tech wise, when I saw like, oh cool, Devin pulled an ace, and I clicked on it in Dropbox. I'm like, well, no. Where's the? I'm like, oh wait, that is the link. It was it was really weird to have it be spread out on Dropbox like that. So, and as far as Terry. As far as the course goes, one of the other big complaints was, I don't remember. I think it was hole 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, back to back, having the same green
basket.
It was confusing even for me because at first, I mean, I was doing some other things. Obviously, I think I was on the internet while I was watching and just kind of following some of the discussion. I looked up and I was like, wait, no, we just saw this hole. I didn't understand. If it were me and I wanted to play the same basket or green, I would have spread that out. Don't
Correct.
play it because it would have been less confusing. I'm not faulting them for using the same green. I'm faulting them for doing it back to back. That was odd and confusing.
That was a very bizarre choice. And again, that speaks to the strategy they were using in terms of having the hardwired cables out there.
Confined to a spot.
So I understand the logic to it. It was executed very poorly.
Yeah, they were confined to an area, and that's what it is. Now, I want to give, real quick, I want to make sure I have this up here. Yesterday, we reached out to Steve and Chris and asked them to be on the podcast. We said, hey, guys, would you like to be on the podcast to talk about the broadcast and the event? And they declined. I can understand why right now. We offered to make sure to keep it strictly about the broadcast because there's a lot of things out there regarding Salient, regarding Charlie, that don't matter to us, frankly. Like that's a them thing. That's an issue, not with the event, not with the broadcast, because really that's what we care about. And they neglected. So I reached out back and basically said, okay, can you answer a couple questions? They were actually, Chris was kind enough to respond back.
That's Dr. Chris.
Dr. Chris. Dr. Chris was
doctor.
He's a doctor. So my first question is, do you consider the broadcast a success at this point? And he said, yes, we consider the broadcast a success purely on the fact that we accomplished something that had yet to be done, beyond the pushback from others that stated we would not be able to pull it off. All we can proudly say that we did. Bravo. You did. They did. I think a lot of people were looking for an absolute car accident, and they didn't get that. So I admit they were able to broadcast an event from start to finish without any video glitches or anything like that. They were able to do that. So I can't fault him there. My second question was, do you have any future plans for live broadcasts? They said here, we're always moving forward and have plans for future events. They didn't say anything about broadcasts. They said events. So I don't know what to take of that. I said, what was your biggest success in the live broadcast? The biggest success was we were able to show the sport in a positive light with features from other clubs, charities, as well as some of the brightest stars in the sport. Unfortunately, Brian Graham did not allow us to feature some other items we would have liked. Okay? Chef, I'll read the last question, then we can kind of talk about. 4, what was your biggest failure or most room for improvement? Sit tight for this one.
Wow, you're a great question asker. Go on.
I had time to write them out. And I'll say this. I didn't want to give them like a ton of questions because I know they wouldn't respond to them. I wanted to be real blunt and ask them just some basic questions. All right. The biggest failure, in my honest opinion, or IMO, in my opinion, is that we did not clearly define some OB rules during the tournament, not the finals, and didn't get the support from all the pros that we would have liked. At this time, it is clear that brand loyalty is too strong with players and fans alike. Between the other tours being run inside the PDGA tour by competing companies, that sentence got kind of odd. It is difficult to get everyone on the same page. We are just happy it did run as smoothly as it did. We had over 20 different volunteering physical therapists come out to add some extra value to the tournament, as well as free beverages on Friday after the round for players and spectators, which are unique to many sports. So, okay, never mind. This other, all right, I won't read the next paragraph, but he did thank us for what we do and this and that. I think they declined to come on, to be honest.
Is that where he took some shots at me?
He did. I think he declined to come on because of Dana. I'll say that. And because of what Dana said a couple, months ago, he feels it was unfair and whatnot. And I don't know. Terry doesn't know. Dana, you're the only one that can kind of vouch for this.
I've players that were on his card at that event.
Okay.
Surfaced and said, yes, he did have some issues with scoring.
Okay.
All right.
Whatever
Well,
that is.
that
But
is-
we don't need to get into
But
that.
we don't need to get into that. Let's talk.
Me versus me, throwing out rumors and
Yep.
it's,
So,
it just to me is just a side note and not as relevant. That's
yeah,
all.
it's not as relevant. Right?
Rumor or true, it's not
He-
relevant to
So here's
the coverage.
a couple things I had issue with his answer. One, I'd love to know what Brian Graham didn't allow them to play. I don't know if it was a PDGA commercial or what they would need permission to show other than the PDGA commercial. I don't know.
Well, let me just chime in there,
Sure.
Johnny. Somebody noticed I rolled my eyes when you had made the comment that Brian Graham didn't allow them to do something. I feel that that's an interesting thing to say because they've been very clear saying they didn't want to work with the PDGA. They wanted to create their own tour. They wanted to create their own governing body. So in hindsight, then, or later on, when you go back and then you want help from the PDGA and you've kind of made this bed and the PDGA says, well, I don't want to get in bed with that because of the way you've made it. I think that's, I'm not a fan of that comment for that reason alone, if that's really what happened, because they've made it very clear they didn't want to be partnered with the PDGA. So then to later come back and say, well, the PDGA didn't cooperate with us. I'm not sure that's fair to say.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I completely agree.
And Beyonce didn't want to go on a date with me last night here in California.
What?
Is that fair to say? I mean, or that I turned her down? Well, I don't know. She was here, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
So there's that. Now I'm going to get a little nitpicky as far as the broadcast goes. One of the things I rolled my eyes at during the broadcast was, I think Billy had a lot to do with this broadcast. I think he
certainly did.
I think he steered and directed it. I think he did probably some pretty good things, and he did some things that I will say I would not have done. The first was the bios of the superstars of our sport. I think every one of those players that they showed were superstars of our sport a long time ago. I didn't understand, why wouldn't you focus your energy and on the people that were there? Because you have 4 stars. And they showed one of them. They showed Barry. I believe they started out with Greenwell. Then they went to Kenny, then Barry, then Nate, Doss, and then Macbeth. and they called them superstars of our sport. But I'm sorry, the first 4 of them, well, Nate's still a superstar, I'll say that. Those are superstars of yesteryear. If you're looking to expand the sport, why not focus on the stars of today? Why not start with Wysocki, who you have on site, Michael Joe, Devin, who's probably the best lefty in the world right now. If you're going to show Macbeth, do that. Show a Coling or a Yuli or some of the younger, Nico, Sexton. Focus on some of these young guys that are really making an impact right now. And the same thing when they showed the women. They showed like Elaine King, who hasn't, no offense to Elaine, hasn't been really relevant on the playing side of the sport in years. For the major events. She's
still good.
She's
and
still
she
great.
Still plays, but yeah,
she's
not
great.
winning
She's
world
plays,
titles like she used to.
but she's not Paige. She's not Kat. She's not. I mean, they did show Val, thankfully. Why not show a Paige Bjerkes? Show a Zoe. Show someone right now whose face would represent the sport. So that was one of those things that it made me cringe inside, thinking a blown opportunity. Like you have, if you're going to show these bios, do it of players. And then, yeah. So that was one of my big, like, I just rolled my eyes and was like, you wasted it. You messed it up. I love the idea. I showed Terry months ago this kind of little graphic thing I did for Paige Pierce that I never rolled out because I never loved it. But it's similar to that. It kind of tells about their history, where they're doing, wins and money and all this other stuff. So I love the idea, but the execution was horrible. My opinion.
And dare we say you just hit it on the head. I think there's 20 other things we could get really nitpicky about. And I think because we have so many other accessible superstars here tonight, maybe we should focus on something a little more exciting moving forward. If it was a slower night, we could probably pick it all apart. And I don't even know if we need to. A lot of people have also come at us and said, we want you to talk about it. We want you to pick it apart. And some people have said, just let it die. Who cares? It's now done.
Yeah.
So there's a balance that even we at Smashbox,
of course,
we are a competitor in some sense, I guess, if that's what you want to call us. We are a competitor, and we're not just out to bash our competitors.
Not at all.
But again, they also
they set themselves up a bit.
Their mouths pretty big when they came out, and were swinging. And now I think they have to live up to what's talked about afterwards.
They do, and I would feel remiss if we didn't bring up probably the biggest issue of all the things of this event that seemed to be the biggest hot button, and that was the scorecard girls. The Hooters girls on the course.
All right, here's gonna be my quick take on that.
All right.
First of all, what was really most embarrassing about the whole thing was the scorecard itself. I swear those look like 2 things that you would buy from Home Depot that were maybe taped together and then taped to the back of a whiteboard, which is awesome at your local
B tier or A tier.
That is the best effort you could put on ESPN. Are you kidding me? That's the best effort, is some really, for goodness sakes, get somebody with better handwriting to at least write the scores. If you really want to be serious, it should be typed or posted or printed out. But if you can't get that, get someone with good handwriting, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
The whole Hooters thing, I'm just going to leave really simply and say I find it ironic. They were there on a women's global event. Hooters isn't, there are other women that are at other events. Did it make or break the entire thing? No. I don't think so. It's just, it ultimately was one of the most talked about things.
Yeah.
I don't think it made or broke the broadcast. They had enough other issues. I have 2 girls myself. I think that, I don't know. I put it at an even keel. I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. And I'm going to leave it at that because there's so many other sports, so many other applications of it where we could find something similar and argue about it. The scoreboard was my real issue.
Yeah, I'll say I don't have that big of an issue with it. That's cute, Terry. We do see cheerleaders and other things in other sports. I was a little disappointed that the 2 girls that were actually holding it didn't look happy doing it. The shots they had were kind of miserable. And it's not a decision I would have personally made. It would not have happened at an event that I was I was doing. But if that's how Hooters themselves wants to promote their company, that's their business. And clearly it's working out for them. So, Dana, what are your thoughts? I think we should get Jeremy Colling in a Hooters outfit is my thought.
You know what? Is Jerm going bald? How old is Jerm?
Wow, shots fired.
That's where that's where I'm at on the topic. Again, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been done better. It could have maybe it could have been done worse. But
it could have been
Jerm
worse.
looks like he's going bald in that shirt. Terry, why don't you move the camera away? Ooh.
Careful, careful, it'll come out.
I'm proud, man. Let's go.
All right. Well, with that,
Dana.
we officially move off the.
Hold on.
Wait.
I just want to give a shout out to not Jerm, but St. Jude event is coming up, guys.
Yes.
If I'm looking for people to sign up to fundraise, and if you sign up to fundraise and post on my Facebook wall, the next 8 people, all you have to do is go to stjude.org/disc golf. If you go sign up to fundraise, you don't have to pay any money or do anything. I will donate $5. I'm just trying to get more people involved in the fundraising. You can go fundraise more if you want or not, but the event's coming up. It's the week after Masters Cup. I'm going to be flying out next Wednesday, but go ahead and go to stjude.org/disc golf. You can find Jerm. Are you signed up?
I'm going to be there, yeah. Me and Schuster and I will be doing a clinic for kids on Wednesday, and really looking forward to being a part of the event again. It's an awesome to be part of.
So you guys could go donate to Jerm, you donate to Terry, me, or sign up to fundraise, and I will donate $5 to your cause. It's super easy. I'll do it to the next 8 people. Do it. Post on my Facebook wall, and I will donate $5. And thanks everybody for 238 people. Why are there so many people on tonight?
Everybody knew. Everybody knew Colling was going to be
loose?
here.
All right.
Everybody knew Colling was going to be here.
Yeah, you're okay. Anyway, all right, Dana, thank you for your updates. It sucks you're flying into California the day I'm flying out, but hopefully we'll see you like next Tuesday night or something.
Will someone pick me up at the airport?
Right after I find a hotel room this week. All right, see you
on Wednesday.
All right, yep, see you. All right, so there we have it, Johnny. We have now a special cake feeding guest. We've got Big Jerm, our Utah Open champion, playing in an unsanctioned event this last weekend.
First one.
We've got both of the champions here in the house at the party. Big Jerm's joining us. You had a good time out there?
Oh man, it was a great time. It was one of the most special events I've ever been a part of in terms of being catered to from the moment we got there to when we left. We had a condo for the touring players that had a hot tub, a pool table. They left snacks, breakfast food with us in the condo. There were events planned every night. They catered to us by comping meals, and we had a really fun course to play on a golf course, and there was free practice rounds for the touring players. I mean, they just really they went out of their way in every single aspect that I can think of to make sure that we felt like we were special. And
you were on ESPN4.
ESPN4 was not there, but Central Coast Disc Golf was, and they covered it. And there'll be some coverage coming out soon for that, and I'm really excited to see it the way that comes out. But yeah, it was just overall, man. I just haven't really left an event feeling so special in a while. I mean, it happens every once in a while when you play in Europe. The big tournaments in Europe, the majors, they do the same thing. USDGC, the Vibram Open. You leave those events like, man, that was something different. That was something special. And Jade Sewell he's receptive, and he really wants to have a big event out there. And it's exciting to see what's going to come about that event in the next couple of years.
I've heard a lot about it. There was some scheduling that was almost going to bring me there, but I'm excited to hopefully see more of it, maybe even next year.
Yep.
It sounds like they're doing really good things out there.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer any of the questions out there, because I know one of the first ones that comes up is, well, why wasn't it sanctioned? And right now they just want to put the money into the purse and build the purse and have a great reputation. And and maybe if it becomes sanctioned on a serious way, it'll be A tier or above probably.
Jade wants it to be an A tier. He wants it to be an A tier from the start. He doesn't want to. He's putting an A tier quality event up, and PDJ wants him to run a couple B tiers to prove that it's an A tier event. And he says, "I'm running an A tier event. Like, if you're not going to give me A tier, then it's not going to be sanctioned."
Okay.
And he's pretty stubborn about that, and that's what he wants. And some people just want to be sanctioned, just to have it sanctioned, just to show people in the world that this event's going on this weekend. And I know a lot of people said, you played in this tournament this weekend, but I can't find the results online. Where was it? It may be a little bit difficult to find, but when we were out there playing, the competition was out there. Bobby Music, Drew Gibson, Paul Ulibarri, Patrick Brown, Cam Todd, Matt Bell, tons of good players.
Did Katrina beat you one round or more?
Katrina never beat me one round.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I'll ask her when she steps inside.
We tied the second round. I think she shot 55.
All right. Well, I had heard she beat a lot of men's scores.
She
Maybe
did.
just not yours.
No, we tied second round, which is really impressive. That course is built for people who have long range capability, and we actually I had the pleasure of playing with her on Sunday. They had a 9-hole safari round for $1,000 for first, $200 for second, $100 for third place, just 9 holes. And that's going to be filmed as well, or that was filmed as well. And it was the top 5 open men and the winner of a female on the first card. And it was supposed to be the top or the second 5 open men on the second card. And some of them showed up, some of them didn't, some had different plans. But either way, I had the pleasure of playing with Katrina. And I've played with her a couple times in tournament rounds before. And it's been just always such a pleasure because she's just so talented. The line she throws, I'm so envious of because it's so different than the way I play. She's throwing control Anheuser's into headwinds, like 400 feet right in the middle of the fairway. And I'm sitting there and if I don't have an overstable disc to fight that wind to throw a hyzer, I don't have a chance. Or if I can throw a sidearm, that's why I throw the sidearm backhand combos to fight the wind. And she's just out there filleting these shots. And I'm sitting there and I no less than 3 or 4 times my jaw was just so impressive.
I believe it.
She just has so much talent and she's working so hard right now. And she's been working hard for years. And it's obviously showing now. She's got something 12 straight wins this season. She's just on an incredible roll right now.
All right. So real quick before we bring her in, looking forward to the Masters Cup National Tour. You're back on the scene. Anything for this weekend? We haven't done our Yuli's picks yet, so I don't know if you'll be in that.
Those
top
should be exciting.
4, if you'll be in my top 4 or not.
I told him I'm feeling really well. I'm feeling good about my game. I'm certainly confident. I'm coming off of a win. I haven't had a win since December. It's the longest I think I've ever gone in a season without a win so far. And it's still not sanctioned tournament, but man, that was I played really well last weekend, and I'm feeling really good about my putt. I'm feeling good about my control game, and my mental game is getting right where it needs to be. And he doesn't have to pick me. I'll pick myself. Maybe not for the win, but I know I'll be up there at the end of the weekend if everything goes well and I don't get too many De La rollaways.
All right, Johnny, are you going to put Big Jerm in your top 4 this week? Awkward.
Did we just talk everyone to sleep? What's going on here?
Oh, I'm sorry. My audio cut out. You didn't hear you didn't hear my answer.
He was eating cake, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You didn't hear my answer. Sorry, Jerm.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, then.
What was your answer? I need to know. If you don't tell me your answer, then I don't know if I'll play as well as I possibly can.
No, I don't have you in there.
Ooh,
Perfect.
okay.
That's fine.
That's okay.
All right.
I use this stuff as motivation.
You should.
Honestly, I'm not saying that you're a hater right
Not
now.
at all.
I'll take it as that, and I'll use that as motivation.
Good. You should. You should pull your hair out over that.
And when I do, I'll do the nana nana boo boo stick your head and doo doo next
All
week.
right. And then
when you win next week, and you're on the show after your big De La win,
okay,
you can definitely do the nana nana boo boo dance.
I will.
Okay.
And this will be the last one. So we're here tonight. We're hanging out. We're just off the beach, the Santa Cruz boardwalk and beach line and all that.
De La has Mach 5 or Mach X's, so whoever said Mach 3s, you're incorrect. They used to, and if they did, still, I would be toast. So just to clarify,
so they have Mach X's. Thanks to our friends at DGA. But you're here because one of the things going on is this is a Meet the Pros tonight, and then into tomorrow there's going to be a skins match. You, Macbeth, Ulibarri, and then the local boy Nate Doss. Any quick predictions? You're playing all 27 holes for various money, skins match. Go.
I predict that it's going to be a ton of fun. In terms of who wins the most skins, I mean, it's De La. You never know. But I honestly think that we'll all get a good piece of the pie, and I'm just super honored to be a part of this. Totally was completely blown away when Tom Schott reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of the event. You know, I'm a North Carolina boy. I'm not from anywhere around here. This is only my third Masters Cup experience ever, and so I'm not really well known in these parts in terms of being a familiar face. And when they reached out to me, it was just a no-brainer. I mean, they asked me if I wanted to be part of this, and it's just like, really? This is like a dream. So to be a part of this is just such an honor, and I'm just going to embrace it tomorrow, and I'm going to try to put on a show and hopefully come home with a little bit extra money.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go. Yes, we're going to have Yuli's picks live here tonight, and we're going to continue to talk to everyone that can come out and join us. Thank you for the cake.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. I can bring some more if you want. If not, then I'll just keep some. There's more in there. I'm definitely going to have.
I'll wait.
Okay. All right.
Because I'll probably get ridiculed.
4 or 5 pieces.
All right. Thank you, Big Jerm.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. We'll see you guys tomorrow
Good
too.
luck, Big Jerm. Go get them. Win all those skins.
All right. What do we got here? All right. She's stepping on in. And this is overdue. Come on in, join us. Way overdue. We have got Katrina Allen joining us. And Kat, you've been winning like every weekend. Last week we kind of took a hiatus we took a 1-week break from Smashbox. You would have been fitting there again to have, but we're glad you're here.
We can only have her on so many times. If she wins every week, people are.
That's true. If you keep winning,
Spread the
we can't have you
love.
on every single week. But tell everyone this last weekend, maybe give a quick recap of the last couple wins or the last couple weekends for you. You won in Kansas City a few weeks ago. You
Yep.
won this last weekend in Utah.
Yep. And the glass blown open.
And the glass blown open. So you're obviously on a streak. Your most regular competitors on top of the leaderboard typically are Val and Paige. And the last few weekends, they just haven't been keeping up with you. Are you in like a zone? What is there? Just you've kicked in with your turbo boosters, positive K style. Like what's gotten you there?
Okay, sorry.
No, it's all right.
I guess a couple things. I've mentioned it online and in some speeches and stuff, but Paul and I have been listening to Bob Rotella, who's a golf
Golf is
sports
not a game of perfect.
Yep, and he has Putting Out of Your Mind and some other things, and it's really nice because he breaks it down in like 30-minute increments online,
Okay.
and so we listen to those in the car, and it's nice because you kind of just take a little bit each week to add to your game, and so that obviously with, I've been working on my physical aspects of the game for the past 5 years and in the gym and everything. I think it's just kind of all
Coming
clicking.
together.
Yeah.
There's always talk, and whether it was Val at one point, Paige, yourself, any one of the three of you, there's always talk about who might be that first woman to get to 1,000. Is that something that's a goal of yours? Is that something you even think about? Do you care if you're winning?
I mean,
What
I
you
just
rated?
won 10 tournaments in a row. My rating went down, so
Okay.
why would I ever care about my rating?
There you go. Okay, that answers it fine.
Yeah.
You worry about the wins and the losses, or in your case, the wins, and you worry about dollar signs.
Yeah.
Who cares about ratings?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many times I've got off the course and been like, wow, I played pretty good. And I'm leading the tournament and I don't even shoot my rating. And then one time I played like absolute horrible. I think it was rated 1038. Like I walked off the course and was like, oh my gosh, I played really bad.
Sure.
So, with the tee times and the wind and the weather and the men, and it just kind of
Sure, it all
something
varies.
that I don't know if we'll ever see it, but
Okay, well, it may happen now this
if it
weekend.
happens, it happens.
This weekend, you're obviously looking to continue your solid play. Anything about De La that you want to share with the world out there?
I think De La is the most, out of all courses you play, the most mentally tough. I think that every year I won, I remember thinking, wow, that was the best I played mentally. Like no matter, forgetting about your last shot. And
Mhm.
that's somewhere where that is a must because you can lay up and get rooted and De La, as they say,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't do anything wrong. So you have to just understand that that's going to happen and move on. And that's De La.
That's De La. All right. Tomorrow you're going to be out there watching the skins match and
I
all
think
that
so,
action.
yeah.
What's you got any predictions for us? I just talked to Big Jerm, but any predictions?
Oh,
Can you
Paul
pull for
probably take
anybody
all the
but-
money.
Okay. Okay.
And if he doesn't, then no, I'm just kidding. Put some pressure on him.
So we'll just throw it out there. Let's say your husband Paul brings down $1,800 out of roughly the $2,000 available tomorrow. What would be the bonus? What would be the treat or the purchase or the dinner? What would that bonus money go toward?
Oh wow. I don't know. Maybe we're going to Finland on Tuesday, so maybe
Okay.
something over there.
All
Do
right.
something out of the ordinary.
Perfect. All right. Well, this is Katrina Allen. She's been tearing up the scene. I said last weekend you were dominating, and you may not say that, but I'll say that on your behalf. You've been absolutely dominating. It's great to see you, and we wish you luck this weekend.
Okay.
All
See
right.
ya.
Thank
See
you.
you tomorrow.
All right. If you could send your husband in maybe over, please. And Johnny, you there, buddy?
I am here. Yeah.
Everything go okay? I noticed she was a little out of frame, so I was trying to fix
well,
the camera slightly, but
she was in, and then she kind of like drifted out, and yeah. So
all right. In just a second, we've got production stagehand Zoe Ann Dyke, who's been amazing, and we'll catch up with her at some point as well. But I got Yuli coming in. I got to admit, I haven't done anything with my picks whatsoever, so I should probably start thinking about those.
I made my picks. I thought long and hard about them about 3 minutes before we went live.
Okay. Well, it's one of our favorite segments here. We're going to keep them nice and close so you're in frame with us.
It's chilly out here.
It's a little bit chilly. I keep on the winter weight.
Don't cry about it being cold. It's got to be.
Cold.
It's like what, 58 or 62 degrees there.
It's at least 60 something.
All right.
Yeah. So joining us here live for Yuli's picks, Paul Uliberry. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Feeling good.
Good. So you had a good weekend over in Utah. Did you have fun over there?
It was a blast. Kind of an off weekend with some competition, and it all went awesome, and we're relaxed and ready for this week. So.
Yeah, they were doing really good things. We've heard. Obviously, Kat talked about. Big Jerm talked about it, and I think we're going to see some big things from them next year as well, as they just their momentum just keeps going and building over there. So huge shout out to what they're doing over there. Great job. That's Jade and Mill Dog and those guys, correct?
Yep. Jade Sewell and Mill Dog, Team Utah.
All right, awesome. All right, so Johnny, do you have a few updates or pick details that we've seen lately?
Hold on, let me dig them up. All right, I'm looking at some score updates.
Start at the bottom.
Start at the bottom. Somebody way down there. That would be Vance V94 has 0 points. So,
okay,
no.
well, I meant.
You start at the bottom with Yuli. Okay, Yuli has 39 points. He scored 2 points last week. I know he picked himself to win the KC Wide Open. We went last week as in we skipped the Women's Global weekend. We're talking KC Wide Open at this point. So
yeah.
And he had Ricky in second, and I don't recall who you had in fourth, but you got them wrong. So you got 2 points. Terry and I both scored 4 points because we hit Ricky number 1 and somebody else. I don't know. Don't care. So
right.
we got 4. So we got 4 points.
It's beyond us now.
Yep, it's 2 weeks ago.
I honestly I don't recall either with the travel and the rain and the
it's
downpour.
the past.
That was miserable.
That was before Women's Global when Terry was doing well. This is after Women's Global when Terry's going to tank.
Yeah,
So-
sure. Yeah, this is the turning point. Yeah,
This is
you
the
guys got it.
Warriors last night.
I did. I just saw the end of it, and the fact.
I might have called it.
Yeah, I'll call a travel on you first, and then we'll talk about.
I heard one side screaming about travel. I heard the other side someone was getting hacked and not called. It's the NBA.
Well, there was definitely a missed call, but anyway.
Quick point total
So,
update. Terry's at 58 points. Johnny V, 45 points. So I'm 13 behind. Yuli is at 39. So ooh.
Almost breaking in the 40s. That's good.
You'll get there.
yeah.
You'll get there.
80 steps.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's Johnny, you lead it. I have to think more about my picks. You lead it.
I lead it. All right. So I sat and thought, like I said, long and hard about this as far as who I was going to pick. Dale as a course, as I'm sure Yuli can attest to, experience, I think, really matters here. It's not like the open golf courses. I know there is one there, but the 2 rounds on the classic Dela course, you have to know where to land because you can easily turn a 2 into a 5 or a 6. So I tend to go experience for these picks. So taking my 4th place pick, I went with Philo, who is a local California guy, has a lot of experience there, and I think he's been playing really well. A couple years ago, he just missed. He took like 2nd place or 3rd place by 2 strokes. So I think Philo's going to have a solid week and pull in a nice 4th place.
Okay.
My 3rd place pick, I'm going with a not necessarily known for the De La area, but Nate Sexton, who's obviously traveling with Macbeth and playing very well at some pretty high golf. I think this suits someone like him who's a very, very good putter. He's not so much of a crusher. I think he's good at placement golf. He's conservative.
Yeah, because that's not going to give you a hard time. But go on.
I know. 2nd place, I went with. I felt bad doing it, but I went with local boy Nate Doss. I'd love to see him get the win. I just can't. I can't go against Macbeth, who's won like the last 4 years in a row, 3 years or something, and it's really tough to not go with him. But I took Nate in 2nd place, Paul Macbeth in 1st place. So those are my picks. Solid picks. Thanks, John. That's great.
All right. So I'm sorry. 4th, Philo.
Sexton. Philo, Sexton, Doss, Macbeth.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. You or me, buddy?
I'll take it.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I just had a conversation out on the deck with Jeremy Colling, and he pretty much begged me. He said,
Did he beg you to take that
I'm
shirt?
so good. I'm putting great. This place sets up well for my backhand and my forehand. And oh my gosh, I'm so confident right now.
And I'm so tall.
Yeah, I'm so tall. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna put him in the 4th spot.
Okay.
Just so I don't have to hear it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
So I got Jeremy Colling in number 4. Number 3, I have to put in Nate Doss.
Okay.
Because, of course, I just don't think he's going to break through this year.
Okay.
With the format, though, I think he has his best shot ever, to be honest, if we want to go into a little detail. We have the 2 rounds up at De La. So it actually suits his game perfect to hang around close at De La. And then we play the traditional golf course or the ball golf course the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And, then it's just straight back to golf. So maybe that's the little kick that he needs to push him on top. But I'm going to stick him in the 3rd slot.
Okay.
And I'm picking Macbeth to get a 4th, 2nd place in a row.
Okay. Ouch. Calling him out. I know you're listening, Macbeth. This guy's calling you out for taking 2nd 3 weekends in a row, and he thinks you're going to do it again.
I'm not calling him out. I'm stating the facts.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
He got 3rd 3 times in a row.
Yeah. And you know how many, if you added up his last 3 non-wins in regulation, you know how many strokes he's lost by? 1.
That's what throwing him under the bus like that, I'll kind of pump him up right now. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I said, he's so good that you can't really beat him unless you tie him and then you beat him on a certain hole thereafter. And so that's how really good he is right now. It seems like you just have to hope to tie him in those rounds. And then once you tie him, you can beat him in the first 4 holes or something on a hole.
Okay.
I know. I called it a couple of weeks ago that we saw the end of Macbeth. He's done. He's washed up. So.
Oh man, but he is gonna be done this week because I'm coming in the 1st spot again. I picked myself to win the KC Wide Open. Didn't happen. Super fluky. I don't know what happened.
That's weird.
Fluky. All those extra stupid strokes on your scorecard.
Terry, turn that light back on.
But I'm feeling pretty good. I'm throwing the disc well, and I think this will be my week because last year I missed cash, so I'm just going for it all.
Okay.
Going for, missing cash and then winning seems logical.
Yeah.
You missed cash last weekend?
No,
last year.
Here.
Oh, last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What?
All right.
What is your? I'll say this. What is your problem at this course? What was it last year?
The problems.
You know, yeah, exactly. Let's start a list. I mean, this place has been my nemesis since I started my career. My best finish here is 11th. And that's, you know, and I feel like I've had good finishes at every single tournament there is in the world except for this. And so I just think that this is going to be my week. The reason for me not playing so well here, it's a difficult course. I mean, and I think that my throw is actually finally good enough to compete here, and hopefully it'll push me over the top. So,
all right, fair enough. So you got those dialed in or written down or something, Johnny?
No, I'll go back and make sure we have them. So I'll go back and watch.
Yeah, this is a little on the fly here tonight. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and give you mine. I'm going to start off. It's going to be a little weird, but I'm going to start off in 14th place is where I'm going to pick Yuli.
All right.
So he's in. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Let's move.
At least that's cash, I think.
That's going to be, you know, I can't complain right now after last year. Thank you.
Yes. I've got confidence. I mean, you said your best is 11th.
14th. Okay.
You're just going to be a couple paces off that 11th place pace.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So no, I'm going to go 4th place. I'm going to put. I haven't been hot about it, but I'm going to go with Nate Dawson 4th. I know he's yet to win here. 30th birthday last year, 30th anniversary of the event. He was right there down to the last couple holes. He just hasn't secured it. And I love the guy, but I think there's going to be some stiff competition as always, and I'm just going to put him 4th. 3rd place, I'm going to go with my favorite camera subject in Nico LaCastro. He might be staring me down as we speak, but I'm going to put him in 3rd. 2nd, I'm going to go with Wysocki, and in 1st, I'm going to go with Paul. So a little bit different from you guys. Obviously, Paul, I know, or Johnny, I know you picked the Beast to win it, and I mean, but you're right. Numbers are on your side that he won't. If we really look at things by what you said, he could tie and then probably lose.
Well, I find
I think our best chance is to tie him and then beat him on like hole 4 or something.
And that's what you would like to do because you picked yourself to win it.
No, I'm gonna beat him by.
Oh, you want to just beat him outright, which nobody's done yet, but you're gonna do that today.
By a couple, I'm sure. By a couple.
Correct. Okay.
Well, I find it interesting that that Terry, you were the only one to pick Wysocki. Considering he's the number 2 player, I personally thought long travel. Not necessarily. I don't consider this a Wysocki course in general, but
sure.
But he has played well here. So
yeah, you know, and speaking to the long travel, just yesterday I was out on the course and I already saw Devin Owens. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I just see you on ESPN3 like a day ago? And he was already out on the course, and that was Monday, or am I thinking Sunday? Oh yeah, he was already out here. So I know he got cross country. I knew Ricky flew. Because he had flown out of Kansas City, and so I know he'll be flying back to wherever he's going, probably to Kansas City, and then I don't know. So,
and nobody picked Cam Todd, finishing 1st and then 4th.
Yeah,
I know
Kansas City. So
one thing I'd say is I don't think Cam knows this track like everyone else. Okay. Cam's he's obviously a well-seasoned touring pro, but I don't think he's been out here a lot. Okay. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I bet you I bet he's played this event less than 5 times. If I had to guess. So we all said it. There's going to be a lot of experience out here on this course. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Cam's a veteran of the game, but there's something special about De La.
Steve Rico,
I actually just texted him as we started the segment. I haven't heard from, yes, I did. I haven't heard from Little Spoon, and I didn't want to pull a U and put him in there in case he's not going to be here. So as of
he'll be here. I didn't pick him.
Yeah. So as of a few minutes ago, he hasn't texted me back. I just wrote you playing this weekend, and that was 8 minutes ago. So I didn't get back in time. I'll admit he would have shook things up. Right. If he would have said he was going to be here, I would have worked him into the top 4, but I didn't want to take the chance because I don't know for sure that he's going to be here. So we'll see. He's focused on legacy and all the great things they're doing over there. So,
yep.
All right. Any shots for our smashies? It's so rare we have, you know, actual one-on-one time here live with Yuli's picks. Any shout outs for our smashies or anything you want to say?
Yeah, you know, my mom's probably watching, so I gotta say hi, Mom, and miss you and love you. She'll be watching the coverage all weekend. Are you guys
Recorded. Yeah,
Recorded
there's
as
no
well?
cell signal out here.
Okay,
So
well, she'll be watching live scoring. Here.
okay.
Shout out to her, my family, all the fans tuning to the Smash Box. See you next week.
All right, there you have it. Thanks, Julie. We'll see you tomorrow. He's gonna be part of the skins match, which we're also gonna be recording.
Winning them all.
We'll catch up with him later tomorrow. But Johnny,
All the skins. That's what he's winning.
All the
the
skins.
Ooh,
I did ask Kat real quick. I said, if you came home with, let's say, $1,800 of the $2,000 in skins, what's the extra thing you would do? Is there a bonus? Is there a place you'd go? Is there a thing you would purchase? Anything special if if an extra 1,800 landed in your pocket tomorrow afternoon?
I just put it in the bank.
Put it in the bank. That's a smart man.
Car
That's a smart
alarm.
man. If we had Jim Kramer here, he'd do some mad money and some booyah, booyah, booyahs. But okay, he's gonna put it in the bank.
I was thinking a car alarm. So
Bullish on that.
I won't be near Deer Lake or whatever.
Brown deer.
Brown
Brown
deer.
deer. All right.
I gotta get out of here.
All right, buddy. Thanks. All right, we're gonna have Zoe Andike step in, our disc golf girl. Come on, nice and close. I think everybody's been a little bit out of frame. Johnny, is that right?
oh
Or
no, I
maybe
mean
me?
yeah, no, I haven't really looked. I've been on the chat for a while.
All right.
whatever.
Well,
No,
don't worry about
you need a
participating.
nice bright white screen up there, Terry. Otherwise, it's impossible to see you guys. Bring up a
Yeah,
nice
well,
take down the video that I know you're watching and bring up like a chat or a white screen like you had before just a second ago.
I know, like a white screen, like on my computer.
Yes,
I did just get a new computer today, everyone.
I know. There you go. Perfect. That's
and
way
it has
better.
The internets.
There you go. Just that, whatever
How's
that
that? Is
screen
that
is.
white?
That's great.
Enough.
Yeah, the whitest hosts we
Do I
have.
look red or a little flush?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
You've
All
got
right, so we've got Zoe here. Zoe, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for helping out and doing everything that you've been doing. This week, you're kind of playing a couple different roles. You're competing this weekend. You helped with the daisy chains last weekend. Tomorrow, you and I are going to be doing some of the skins action. How are you keeping up with everything?
Well, it's really fun, so
That helps.
keeps me going, keeps me charged. Yeah, I've never been quite so in the action like I am this year, and I got to tell you, it's keeping me charged forward even in my practices. I'm kind of compartmentalizing my days by what project I'm working on, and somehow it seems to be working. I shot the second best round of my life on Sunday.
Yep.
And I've been so busy. So I think I can manage these things. I think so.
All right. Well, I hope it works for you because you don't want to just quit golf like I have
No.
because that's not as much fun. But the skins match tomorrow. We've talked to a few people. That's part of the reason there's a little action, a little party going on here tonight. But skins tomorrow, we're going to see Ulibarri, Coling, Macbeth, and the local Doss. And I know you guys have given me a hard time already online about calling Doss a local. Everybody refers to him as a local. Tom Schott refers to him as a local. He is known
He's a
as
local here.
he's known as the local. Yes, I realize he lives in Bend, Oregon, for all of a few months out of the year, really, when it adds
Right.
up. So, but yes, he's considered the local around here. Tomorrow, anything you're especially looking forward to? Is seeing the golf or the camaraderie or the trash talking, possibly?
Oh yeah, everything you just listed. I think you and I being able to be right there on the front lines, talking to caddies even as their player is throwing. Hey, what would you tell Jeremy to throw right now? All the way to right when someone wins their cash. There's those $50 bills, and just like the money coming in. This is a really cool event. Tom Schott really does it right, and I think to be invited and to be a part of this event is a really special thing, and kind of just puts that extra little kick on disc golf in general. This is the Masters Cup, the National Tour, the Santa Cruz scene. There's so much going on with like the history of this area that I'm excited to be in it tomorrow and doing the Meet the Pros. It's all going to come together and be fun and classy.
Well, and I can't see the chat boards right now, but I'm guessing one of the questions that comes up frequently is, how did these four players get selected to play? And quite simply, I know I just mentioned Nate Doss is always going to be in it because they consider him the local. This is Tom Schott's ordeal, and he just handpicks who he wants.
He does.
So,
He does.
So I know people are saying, well, is it previous champions or this or that or rate? It's nothing to do with that. Tom Schott just kind of goes through a list and he handpicks people that he'd love to see, that he'd love to have showcased.
He
and
does.
and there's really only 3 of them because, like we said, Nate's always won.
Yeah.
So that's
and
how it came about.
The world champion, and Paul is going to make it in there
Mhm.
probably time and time again. If he has that world title, you can't not showcase the best in the world, as Tom put it. It's great to have the best with all of his favorites or whomever he picks, So I'd say Nate and Paul could be long-standing. Nate for sure.
Mhm.
We'll see.
Well, and of course, if you're in the area or within a few hours of here, you can come down to Santa Cruz. You can watch it. When the event, they're going to be doing the skins match, and then you can actually just purchase a disc right on site. It's specific to this year, a commemorative disc that's Meet the Pros. It has all 4 of their names on it, and then they'll be doing a signing session immediately after, so everybody will be there hanging out, conversing, having a good time, and signing the disc to kind of memorialize the day.
Definitely. It's all part of the big show. The guys originally, they get handed, a little bit of money just for showing up, and then staying and being the pro actually after the 27 holes, not 24 like we play for the Masters Cup. All 27 holes at De La are completed, and then the pros are there to answer questions, to sign, and to be a real positive public face
and ambassador. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. What would you do if you landed an extra $1,800 tomorrow somehow? If you were out there playing, where would that go if Zoe had that windfall?
I mean, we're in Santa Cruz, and we're really close to San Francisco.
So
There's
a surfboard,
all kinds
and you just
of
surf up north.
yeah, exactly. Kite surf north, and then go out to the best dinner of your life,
Yeah.
and then fly back in a helicopter somewhere. Okay, we could
Wow,
be getting
no.
expensive.
Yeah, I think you've already gone through your entire expense account on that. Any other parting shots regarding the women's global? We're going to see if we can grab Val quick as well. Obviously, being the okay, just kidding. We're not going to talk to Val.
I can give some recaps.
Give
though.
some recaps that Val would have given us.
I will. Yeah, the women's global event, insanely successful. Let me just scale back to 2012 when it started. We had 540 women worldwide. 2 years ago, because it's an every other year event, biannual or every other year is what I meant to say.
Sure.
Then we almost doubled. We're at I believe 1,100, and this last year we were over 1,600. So it's getting bigger and bigger every year. We had Paige on top for all of the women in the world. So Paige is our world champion. I think that the system is working for the women's global event. Talent from all over placing really, really well. And these ladies are able to compare from Japan to Europe to Australia. And literally, you guys need to get on the Disc Golf for Women and even the women's page on the PDGA. All of these tournaments posted insanely awesome, unique things to their women's global event. So more ideas for not next year, but the following year. And then we're hoping to break that 2,000 population number.
For sure.
Also, just here at the local Daisy Chains, we actually did a prize that I promised I would talk about. Tom Schott was pretty stoked. Wanted to mention who was the furthest traveled to our event. So we had a gal named Nicoletta from Switzerland, and then we had a gal named Lisa from Denmark. So they came over. Then we also gave an award for the youngest and the oldest. Youngest being 14 at our event, oldest being 60. Youngest that we found reported 5 years old in Oregon,
Nice.
actually. And then I don't have an oldest. So we can go
experienced.
60 plus.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, super big success. I have to say Val Jenkins definitely started with the idea of trying to put women on the map, and look how fast it's growing. So everyone just get on that train. And
Well, it was
yeah,
over, like you said, over 1,600 women. I believe there was 63 different events going on, or
Yep.
somewhere in that neighborhood. 11 countries were represented when
Yeah.
it was all said and done, or they were happening in 11 different countries, actually. So it was just awesome to see and to hear and to be part of the Daisy Chains. I missed everyone back in Wisconsin. Thank you to Jenny and Jason and Sergio and all the people that held down Gray Fox and the Women's Global there. A huge shout out to Jenny Cook for taking it down in Wisconsin. Congratulations. And just for all the participants out there, all the sponsors, Miles over at Paragon, and I know he was a big influence and a help, and all the other sponsors, which Val would name if here, but
right.
all the amazing women's global event sponsors. We're stoked to be part of it. And we were stoked that Val reached out to Smashbox to help even be somewhat of a a media outlet and someone that would check in with her and kind of give the updates as we go. So
Yeah.
we were glad to be a part of it here.
It was special having Joe filming and having Terry on the scene too. It wasn't just like we were recording the pro top card. It was the event as a whole, new players, intermediate players, returning players, what the whole event looked like. So I would say be excited about some of those highlights.
Yeah,
guys.
you're going to see a highlight. Joe, our awesome editor, is working on a highlight package. I did put some shot-by-shot coverage together as well. So we're going to give you a little flavor of both of those angles, so to speak.
Could you find those on the Disc Golf Girl?
You will be able to find those out there. You'll be able to find them on the Disc Golf Guy. You'll be able to find them everywhere because we're going to put them out there for you guys. So look for those soon. This is going to be like a monster media blitz in that Daisy Chains is wrapped up. The Meet the Pros is happening. The Masters Cup is happening. So be patient, be with us, and make sure you tune in. There's going to be lots of stuff coming on.
Don't miss. This is the special time for disc golf. You know, I mean, West Coast kicking it off strong, and then everything to come after this. So don't miss a minute of this coverage, folks.
We'll be right here. All right. I believe have we exhausted everyone that we needed to talk to out here tonight?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
Is
so.
the party wound down
the
officially?
party has wound down.
Wow. It's only
It's
9 o'clock here.
9 o'clock here. It's time to go to bed on the West Coast. We all go to bed early here.
They
They
party
do.
hard.
All right,
They
thank you,
party
Zoe.
hard.
What's that, Johnny?
They party hard.
They do, or something like that. I don't know if I'm gonna still get an actual piece of cake, but I might need one.
No, back
All
to the
right,
other screen.
So Johnny, I think we're gonna start wrapping things up. Is that what I'm hearing? It's been crazy out here. Obviously, we've had a lot of fun. I'm not sure if we may have some kind of a additional check-in later in the week or something. There's going to continue to be a ton of stuff online. I want to thank Pete Ulibarri for reaching out, saying that he was interested in supporting us tonight. I think we're going to have some sponsors. I know that our friends over at Daredevil, Ricky and Ricky Singleton over at Daredevil, he wants to work with us again and have some more giveaways, and we're having more and more people reach out on that end. So thank you to everyone. We had a huge crowd tonight. It was close to record-breaking. As I keep moving my screen there, it was close to record-breaking, if not officially record-breaking. So definitely some good stuff here tonight out of Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
You got
represent.
anything else that I need to cover or worry about, or that we need to wrap up here?
I don't think so. I think we nailed it. Nailed it.
Well, we had a lot of great people here tonight, and it's certainly been a really good time. I see Tom Schott is still behind me. He's packing up the disc for the Meet the Pros I was just talking about. I know Innova had supported him and sponsored with some of that stuff. And so tomorrow, if you come on out to the course, again, you can buy a disc, you can get it all signed, and then you can watch this huge epic battle go down, which will be recorded and then released a little bit later. So we want to make sure we can do the best we can. I want to say a huge shout out to Bill Sherman, who's been an amazing host for the last few nights for us here in the Santa Clara area. I want to say I'm sorry that I missed you last night, Beyonce.
Beth and Dave.
Next time we'll find a way to make it happen. Beth and Dave have also helped us out in terms of the Women's Global this weekend. Zoe's been a huge help. Tom Schott, Tammy, everybody, all these different people that helped make these first few days here amazing. And to think that I have like 7 to 9 more days here is actually a little bit crazy. I can see the ocean like literally just a few feet from me. It's truly amazing. And I even have a different laptop to edit on. So some might say it's about to get real up in here.
Yeah, you bought
Real
yourself a really nice MSI something or other.
The keys light up in different colors. That's really what I care about. Okay.
It's pretty pimp.
That's what I care about is the keys. Like my keyboard is just an array of colors. It's almost rainbow-like. And I love it. So,
well, you're in San Francisco.
Yeah, I love it all. It's amazing. So, all right, let's sign this thing out. It's been awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in a little bit later tonight. Again, maybe we'll have to have a special check-in or update later in the week. There's just so many players and so many good things going on that if we can find good signal, we'll find a way to reach out to all our people out there and look for the Instagrams and the Facebook updates and the YouTube and all that other stuff. All right, so for every one of my guests, which I can't even remember them all, I certainly most think of Nate Doss, who's celebrating his 31st birthday tonight, and for everyone else here that was at the party, for all the tournament updates we got, for all the entertainment we got from the American Tour, for Dana, for Johnny V, and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, the entire Smashbox crew. Thank you guys for tuning in. That was podcast 87, Santa Cruz edition. We'll see you guys later on in the week when you step inside the Smashbox.
We're back.
All right.
We're still online. We're still streaming, by the way. Don't say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, yeah, we're I don't want to say getting chased out, but yeah, we're wrapping up at someone's house here. So although the internet is amazing, we're not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to do too much for an after show. But yeah, it was really good. Super good. It was a lot of fun tonight. I didn't think I would just be standing here this whole time out on a deck, but you got to do what you got to do.
I was really worried at first because we were on Skype right before we went live. Everything was great. As soon as we went live, you got like your Wi-Fi started getting stuttery, and it was like I'm like, oh God, please no, because I know you moved outside, and when you did that, we kind of got a little iffy, but then it picked up again. So I was really worried that it was going to be that way, but it actually cleared up really nice. After
audio was good throughout for everyone.
Yeah, it sounded like
awesome.
It was on my end. I forgot to turn you up. I had you turned down for a little bit, but so you were like, it was quiet. But once I saw that I needed to bump up your audio, like 5 minutes in, we were golden.
Yeah, as Chris Crop's chiming in, we had been staying with Bill Sherman for the last few days, and his house is about to get a little bit smaller, so to speak. And so, shameless plug or not, yeah, Joe and I are trying to determine where we're going to be able to crash for the next few nights. Just hotels are insanely expensive here, and we work on disc golf budgets. So if somebody had any heads up, I had someone reach out and say they might be able to help with a few hotel points for a night or two, which is an awesome gesture. Yeah, so we're kind of working on that. We know where we're crashing tonight. Somebody suggested camping, and I'll just say editing at 3 a.m. and camping don't go hand in hand. Yeah, not so much, but it's been a lot of fun, and I don't believe I've been here since I've only been here 4 days. I feel like it's already been a week and a half, and to know what's coming up in the next week and a half is pretty amazing. So. How's the weather in Wisconsin?
It's actually pretty nice. Today was mid 50s and sunny.
That's cute.
And sunny. Tomorrow's supposed to be low 60s. We're supposed to get almost 80 by the weekend.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I know what Airbnb is. The problem with Airbnb here, folks, for those, plenty of people have suggested it. I love the idea. The problem is most of them say we sleep 2. And it's a queen or a double-sized bed for me and Joe, and it's still 160 a night or something crazy like that. Like, I'm all familiar with Airbnb. We're still here in California where it's as much or more than hotels at a lot of them. So, and a lot of them really have been geared towards couples. And I like our cameraman and editor Joe a lot, but not that much. So, yeah. Anyway, Rick. I appreciate. I will be sending you some emails tomorrow. I've got software to download with this new computer. Somebody said I should learn, what's that thing called? Premiere. I may need to learn that in the next 24 hours. And or After Effects. Have you heard of that, Johnny?
Yeah, maybe once or twice.
Great. I don't know. Somebody said it's neat. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate it. We got an awesome group out there. I wish I would see her for hours with you guys, but it's just not going to happen right now and tonight. Yeah, I got to get going. I think we're heading out of the party. I got to see if there's cake left. I didn't get to partake in any of the party because we basically got this set up and got rolling. Yeah. And my little fork feed from Big Jerm is just not enough for me.
It's
stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's only 9 o'clock there. Go ahead and get some food.
Yeah.
Go to the boardwalk. Get yourself something nice.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many jokes I won't make. All right, guys. Seriously. We do appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. There'll be more. I guarantee we'll have some more action for you. And we're going to get serious and buckle down on this footage. And looking forward to it. So for Johnny and myself, we're going to sign out unless you're going to sit and babble, Johnny. This has been the after show. And we'll see you guys hopefully sometime maybe later this week. Worst case scenario, next Tuesday night. See ya.
Oh, he's finally gone. Now it's the Johnny V after show. All right, not really, but let's see here. Let's mess with. Okay, I'll hang out for a few more minutes if anyone's got anything. I can answer questions. We can chat. We got anything? Otherwise, it's 11 o'clock Central Time. And I heard my wife come home about a half hour ago from her little knitting club. So, but really, it's early. It feels early, and something weird happened with my audio recording. So I'm gonna end up pulling the audio directly from YouTube, which means I won't be able to get it till tomorrow. So the audio podcast, will go out first thing in the morning once I can pull that down. Let's see here. Let's talk Thrones. Yeah, I can't. Can we go spoiler zone? I don't know if we can go spoiler zone. I feel bad. Spoiler. I'm Game of Thrones. I'm enjoying it. This is one of the best seasons so far. I'm really excited to see where things go. I've read all the books, so I'm really hoping that we can that this season really does it. I'm looking for some good action. We haven't. Other than the mountain crushing somebody's head, we haven't seen any really good gore yet. So, yeah, so we'll see. All right, I'm going to scroll up here. How's the remodel? Yeah, last week, remodel's going well. We had our floors refinished upstairs, and the modem and everything is located in the living room, which is where the floors were refinished. So we couldn't walk on them. So I had to take everything out, disconnect everything that's in our entertainment center, including the modem, and I couldn't put it back in. And Tuesday and Wednesday were the best days for it. So that kind of messed up the podcast. So instead you got the Terry Proto podcast. So which I had to help walk him through. So it's kind of funny. ADGT talk, please. We covered it. I mean, I kind of let everything that I felt was appropriate to be said. I'm again, like Terry and I discussed, everyone has a preference. I love Billy Crump as a person. I've hung out with him. We've chatted. He was a touring guy. His commentating isn't my style. It's just, I prefer a slightly more professional take most of the time, with a little bit of humor. And Billy just he's got a Southern drawl, which I'm not going to hold against him by any means. But just some of the phrases and words he uses isn't necessarily my cup of tea. I'll say that. So I can't, as far as commentating, that's just my personal preference. And then again, I just felt real bad the fact that they brought up like the stars of yesteryear, and I think that is a little bit on Billy. And I do like the stats. Like, you want to talk about Climo, how he's dominated, things like that, that's fine. But don't call him superstars, because unfortunately, I think even if you ask him, he's not a superstar right now anymore. So, yeah. Have I tried the new Gboard? I have. I've got one small complaint with it. Well, it's partially iOS in that when I choose a keyboard, it doesn't always stay. And that's an Apple thing. And on top of that, when I want to use numbers, sometimes when I hit the first number, it flips back to a keyboard with just letters. So then I have to go back to the numbers, and then it sticks. So just a weird little thing about that. Was Terry ever approached about doing ADGT commentary? Yes, he was, way back when we first heard about it. There was some talk about Terry going there and doing, I don't know if it was commentary, I don't know if it was production help. We never really got that far. That's more of a Terry thing. I know he spoke about it, and he spoke to Chris Kilgus, and Chris and him and I, and had good conversation. Not so much me, but Terry and Chris had good conversation. So I've got no personal beef with Chris or Salient. I've never done any business with them, so I can't say anything bad, but it's out on the internet if you want to find someone that has. So let's see here. I'm out. Someone's saying goodbye, whoever that was. Let's see here. I got to scroll up here. All right. What's the next live stream for Smashbox? Our next live stream is the Vibram. Vibram. We got big plans for Vibram. I'm really excited for you guys to see some of this cool stuff. We had a meeting with, there's no surprise, Steve Dodge is very much into stats and things like that. And I got a preview of what you guys are going to see. It's going to blow you away. So I'm really excited. It's going to help me out as a broadcaster on the back end. We're working with the company that's doing this. I don't know if it's public as far as who's doing it or not, so I'm not going to say. It might be, and I just being dumb here. As far as what I will need and what Terry's going to need for commentating, as far as stats and stuff, and it's amazing. We're gonna really knock some socks off. So. Liz Lopez does want Thrones talk. We can get into some Thrones talk real shortly. I'll run down through this if I get to the end of the list and there's no other conversation. We can throw up some Thrones talk after the Thrones or something weird like that. We'll call it. Seti, that's what your wife calls it. His ex had a different name for it. No, I know my wife goes to a knitting club it's her and a bunch of friends, so it's really an excuse to get out of the house, away from kids, leave them with me, and they do a little bit of knitting, a little bit of drinking sometimes, and a lot of gabbing and talking and probably complaining about me and how I don't do the dishes enough or something. So Clegane Bowl, get hype. Yeah, I've heard rumors that we might get them, both brothers. So I don't know. Finally picked up speed this from the past week. Yeah, the first 3 episodes were slow. They're setting up the season, definitely. One thing Game of Thrones is good at is the episode before the final episode is usually the best one. Then the final episode of the season is that kind of denouement. It's the finish. It gets you set for the next year. So they keep teasing us with the Bran Stark, the history of the Tower of Joy, all that stuff. And so I'm really excited. Every time he screams like, no, I want to stay. I feel the same way. Like, I need to stay. I want to see what's going on with the history. I think I already know. I think a lot of the theories out on the internet are probably true. I think Jon Snow isn't necessarily a Jon Snow. Ron Harkey feels out of touch because he doesn't watch Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's so good. It really is. So much hype about this episode due to ADGT, and everyone got denied. Again, I'm more focused on the broadcast itself. I was critical of the broadcast. I thought, and we're not immune to it. Terry was mentioning how he saw different color palettes on the 3 different cameras. That's why he picked 3, because he saw 3 different color palettes. We are just as guilty. Our white balance on our last couple of broadcasts have been horrible, and I need to get that locked down. And I'm looking forward to Vibram when I can sit with maybe Joe Canali or someone else, and I'm going to have both cameras there. I'm going to be able to have some extra time to sit and actually with both cameras and work on them and make sure they are set to the same levels. So cross my fingers that we're going to get that done. Craig says a book recommendation, Understanding Poverty by Ruby Payne. Good. I'll have to maybe look into that. I got some Audible credits that I need to do. So Iron Druid as well is a good audio one. I'm not into that. I started the Dark Tower series a couple of years ago. I got through like 3/4 way through the first book, and then I just put it down and I didn't get back to it. And so I want to go through the entire Dark Tower series before the movies come out. I saw that they're filming them now, so I'm really excited for that. I want to dig into that. I've got them all on, not audiobook, but I've got the like a PDF or digital version of it, so I should start doing that. Let's see here. Remodel has been going on since the memorial. A little bit, yeah, off and on. Really, we've been doing, like I said, we started with the trim, painting, refinish the floors. Now we're going to wait a couple weeks, and then we're going to put on the toe kick for the board, for the baseboard in the living room. And then we're almost done remodeling. And if someone wants to buy my house, that'd be great. But we did talk about the ADGT earlier in the stream. I think someone said he was very repetitive. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. For Billy was very repetitive. Wow, man, holy moly. This is scroll. I try to keep up here. So, yeah, and again, his whole youngin' and Barry being the old guy motif, I didn't need it. But again, to each their own. Let's see, Chris Killius. Did Chris Killius really tell someone to die? I doubt it. I don't know. Again, Chris has always been cordial with us. He answered my questions. I have no issues with Salient because I've never dealt with him. So, let's see here. How did Smashbox do at the media challenge after the GBO? Tennis guy JJ, we won. We won. And we were fortunate that McCabe his knee was sore from playing, so he did not compete. So it was Bobby and Danny. But we did. The PDGA guys almost caught us at the end. So picks of the week. Game of Thrones. Sure. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 2, Daredevil season 2. I'm thinking through Netflix stuff. I haven't gotten any books lately. I'm trying to think. That's about all I got right now for picks. Majestic, we will be broadcasting Majestic, but that's after Vibram. So, will Terry be at Beaver State? I don't think he has plans right now. I'm not positive, though. He might be. That's an NT. Yeah, actually, I think maybe he is going to be at Beaver State now that I think about it. If it's an NT event, I think he'll be there. So, Liz Lopez calls it Knitting Club. I've always told my wife if she wants to go out and find some action on the side, I don't care as long as he's paying. Have fun, Great, good for her. So that's not true. I would not be happy about that. But she's a lot of my wife is. I love my wife very much. So, do you think we'll see some similarities between Disc Golf World Tour and DGPT as far as features, coverage? I imagine Steve and UC are not acting as competitors. They're not acting as competitors. I mean, naturally, the two tours are going to compete. Not necessarily this year, but I think they're going to end up in the future competing. That's just the way things are going to end up going. You're going to see some similarities. I mean, there's the stat stuff that will be similar. Disc Golf World Tour came out with it first. Again, from what I've seen from Disc Golf Pro Tour, it looks really good. So I think you guys are going to be really impressed. Beaver State Fling, it will be, Milo McIver has 0 cell coverage at that park, so we can't do live. Similar to De La up on that mountain, it's really spotty in spots, like most of the park. It's good in if I remember correctly at De La, it's good in the parking lot, but once you get back into the wooded area, it just cell signal dies. So there's not it. JVD, how does it feel to have the greatest fantasy disc golf general manager breathing down your neck about to take over your second place spot? Oh, Joe. Yeah, I'm glad you're competing on the Skip Ace, or no, I'm sorry, the Smashbox /picks one. There's not a lot of people that are doing it every week. There's the 3 of us and then a couple of people out there. Most people have moved on to Skip Ace fantasy disc golf. So, and I'm happy because I developed that as well. I'm gonna dominate the back end of the fantasy disc golf area and someday sell it and retire. But Rick, let me know if you need a graphics guy for Maple Hill. Steve, that's the guy you need to talk to, Steve Dodge, because he basically takes care of all of that. So if you want to talk to him, he's the guy. He's the guy right there. Will you be at USDGC this year with Terry? I don't even know if Terry's going to be at USDGC, to be honest. So I haven't been there in a couple of years. So Stephen Hill says it's UDisc. It is Publix. Yes, UDisc. UDisc is from what I've seen, super impressive. Should we talk to Terry here? You're live on the air.
Yes, we are. What caller am I?
You're caller number 6. Not quite the winner. Please hang up and call back.
All right, Joe's going to try from his phone now.
Okay, great. Let's see here. Awesome. We'll do tomorrow. Oh, Rick is talking about reaching out to Steve about doing graphics for Maple Hill. Again, Rick, you're going to want to talk to him about doing graphics for Pro Tour because I think they're going to have a consistent theme for that. Someone's getting cat facts. Did you know that Devin Owens was young? Yeah? Devin Owens is a young guy? Ellen?
No, they're ripping on Billy because Billy... You're not live, are you?
Do you know that Devin Owens is young? Oh, so they're ripping on Billy because Billy... And I said that... Did he call him like...
Ricky, not Devin.
I don't know.
About Ricky and Devin.
I don't know. So...
Yeah, he said it about Ricky and Devin. He kept calling him young Devin and young fucking Ricky.
Yeah, young Ricky and old man Barry and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, which was really obnoxious.
Terry, I'm serious. I'm serious when I say you're live on the air.
Good to know.
I told.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
I thought you were kidding.
No, I told you you're live.
Well, how often have we done this format?
I don't know. That's why I called and put you on speakerphone. So that's fine.
All right. Okay, so now I know. So welcome everyone to the Santa Cruz car office.
A lot of people are laughing now.
That's good.
So
And I'll repeat it. It was obnoxious to keep referring to him as
I agree. I said
old man.
I did. I just said that like 5 minutes ago about the Billy stuff, about how, Billy running the show kind of, I think he directed that, and that's his style, the old man, young man kind of thing. So you're not saying anything groundbreaking or even offensive. It's a style.
No, I know.
So
I know, and I know they're friends, so I know it wasn't offensive to Barry either.
no, of course not. So
Johnny, you don't hear, just to clarify, you don't hear any of my GPSing that's coming through the microphone, do you?
No, I hear Joe chuckling in the background, but none of the GPS stuff.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, because my GPS through my car keeps telling me which way to go, and it sounds like you should be able to hear it, but you're really not.
It's that doesn't come through on the phone. I notice that sometimes too when I'm talking to you in GPSing. If Google Maps tells me to turn left, you don't ever hear it. So.
All right. Well, to let everyone know, for those who are Santa Cruz people, we are just outside of. I'm going to turn off my GPS because I actually know where I'm going now this time. We are just outside Santa Cruz Pier area, boardwalk, whatever, and we're getting on Highway 1, which I think we're on very briefly, which will then bring me to. Oh, great, it's closed. Now I do need my GPS. I was going to get on 1 to get on 17.
Johnny, he gets us lost all the time. We spend so much time driving around. It's stupid.
I do not. Anyway, I hope our viewers our listeners are getting a kick out of that, because now I do have to actually reroute.
They are.
Much.
Tyler Durden says we want the off the air conversation podcast, and I said they almost got it, but no, they're not getting it.
I'm going the wrong way. Oh my God! You can't do that right here. Yes, you can U-turn wherever I want.
This brings me back to when you would go somewhere and travel, and then you'd call me and be like, Johnny, I'm lost. I need you to tell me. I think I'm on Highway XYZ, and I need to get here. Tell me how to get there.
Yeah, and hence John Turlap, our good Spashy, then dubbed you as John Star, which was probably one of the most clever things ever said.
Yep. Yeah, John Star. Or I did like as well, at the time, MapQuest was big, so it was Johnny Quest, because that was an old cartoon, which I watched when I was a kid, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just figured it out. Look at that. Oh, booyah. All right, so now let's get down to business. I'm just going to drive like a maniac, and we're going to talk Mashbox.
Okay.
Anyway, so hopefully what I was calling you about was, in fact, to discuss the show, and it seems as if there's still people listening for whatever reason.
95.
Have enjoyed the show. 95 people. So you guys must have enjoyed the show, which is awesome to hear. And I was just talking to Kat and Paul, and Paul was saying in the living room, he's like, the more places I go, more people are telling me they really enjoy, the Julie's Pink segment. I get at least, I don't know, like one person say that. So he's super happy that he could join us. And Jerm asked what was my favorite part of tonight's show, and he said it was the cake, right? And I said, well, I would like an actual piece of cake. But overall, it was so awesome to have all of our pros accessible, to then have them just join us on a pretty laid back evening.
Yeah, I thought the podcast went very well. Like I said, the bandwidth issue, it hiccuped every once in a great while, but in general, it was really good. It's always nice to be able to be in an area where there's a bunch of pros available for us just to kind of rotate them in and out and go. So.
Yeah. Now I didn't get to sit down at all, so I'm just saying.
That's good for you.
And,
It's like having a standing desk. I have a standing desk at work, and guess what I did? I didn't stand once today.
yeah, that sounds about like you.
Yeah, well,
Trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I didn't realize Joe is in here. Joe is our editor and cameraman. And Joe, what happened as the party slowly cleared out? What was going on?
We got word that somebody's wife possibly didn't know that we were there, and we needed to get out of Dodge.
oh.
Oh. Okay, so that's, I don't want to say there was an abrupt ending to our podcast, but that's why I kind of set things up there at the end to get us moving, because I was getting the off-air, notification to, wrap it up.
Time to shut her down. Yep. No, that's understandable. Sometimes when we have podcasts in strange spots, and whether it's someone's house or a hotel room, we're at the mercy of the people with the bandwidth. So we have to cut it short. That's why I thought I'd do some after show, and people stuck around. Actually, we're at 98 now, so we're gaining viewers, Terry.
It's probably Julie and Big Jerm. They were talking about him. So, anyone have any questions out there that I need to touch on?
I don't think so. Everyone's saying the JVD Proto Show rules. So
The JVD what?
the Proto Show, kind of like what you called your disc golf guy Proto Show
Yeah, you would.
or Alpha
Now,
Show. I didn't call it that. That's what somebody else called it.
Now, have you kept the regular stream up?
Yeah. It's literally just a video of me right now with my phone in my hand right next to the microphone. It's exciting podcast.
It sounds like it. Now, I'm in for like a 40-ish minute drive back to Santa Clara.
Of which I will not be holding the phone for that long, but go ahead.
You can prop it up. And as Joe and I, for those who don't know, Santa Clara and San Jose is approximately 30 to 40 to 45 minutes, depending on where you're going, from Santa Cruz. They're north of Santa Cruz, and you have to take this one particular road, Highway 17, and it's an incredibly stressful road because it's nothing but winding left and right, nonstop, and going up and down a hill. And it's mildly stressful. Nothing I can't handle on the phone, of course. But
Yeah.
It's a stressful drive in general.
I remember taking that drive like 4, 5, 6 times back in 2011, and it's not an easy drive because there's not a lot of just straightaways that you can just kind of quote unquote zone out for. So Stu Mullenberg asks, am I correct in the idea that Terry has seen a lot of changes in his duties in the last 3 years? Yeah, kind of. I guess if you're talking about the last 3 years of our broadcast, yes and no. I mean, he's picked some things up. He's left some things behind. He doesn't have to film and commentate and hold the backpack anymore, which is nice,
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah.
I guess I would ask for him to elaborate on what he means by that specifically. I've taken on a few different roles. We didn't have a podcast at all.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago we didn't have a podcast. That was, because we started the broadcast before the podcasting, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did 2014. Because the logic to the podcast was really when we got to the end of our first season in 2014, we said, oh, hey, there's going to be a dead time. If we hit a weekly podcast, we can keep people kind of up to speed with what's going on during the off season. We can find people to interview and things to do. And then I know I had fully anticipated that once the Memorial basically rolled around at the beginning of 2015, in my head I had envisioned, okay, the podcast will take a back seat for 6 to 8 months during the busy part of the season. And for whatever not so bright reason, here we are every week, sometimes multiple times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. I look forward to it every Tuesday. Almost every Tuesday. Almost every Tuesday. What are the Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'd say, what are the chances of Nico talking to himself in the third person this weekend? I'd say 100%.
At some point or another, he will. We've talked about his passion, but that's how he internalizes or externalizes a few of his emotions. And I think I'll go as far as saying, I think every disc golfer almost on the planet that's ever played a full round of disc golf has at one time or another referenced themselves in the third person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Why did you do that?
I do it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I question why you did a lot of things too, Johnny. But
You question what?
Everybody does it at one point.
What did you say? You question?
Why you do things sometimes? Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
On the course.
Oh, sure, of course. At this day and time in my life now, when I go out to the course, I'm really more looking just to have fun, like try things stupid, do different things, as long as it's not competitive, like super competitive. But even during a tournament round that I may play, I might try something out of the ordinary just because I don't get to play that often. But like when I played Gray Fox, I didn't actually really do that. I played pretty conservatively when we played Gray Fox, and I felt I played as well as I could have at this point from with lack of practicing. But it wouldn't stop me from doing something stupid. So.
I am a little disappointed. Thinking back to the show tonight, I'm a little disappointed. I know Avery was there. We didn't get a chance to pull him in and have a quick conversation with him. But I would have liked to have Avery join us briefly on the show tonight.
Yeah, I was really hoping to get Val and Avery on at some point. And I know Val left early. I don't know if Avery took off when they did as well, but I would have loved to talk with Avery a little bit.
So that's someone we can catch up with maybe next time. I know Avery, a side note here, I did have a conversation with Avery at the global event this weekend. He said he is, in fact, playing here at the Masters Cup.
Yep, I saw him on the pre-reg.
Only his second tournament of the year, and of course he won in Katowice, the Czech Republic, I should say, somewhere, a couple weekends ago in the B or C tier they had hosted prior to the World Tour event. He won that. But, yeah, this Masters Cup event is only going to be his second event of the year, and then next weekend when he plays in the St. Jude, of course, that's only going to be his third event of the year. And you're going to see Avery play less than 10 tournaments, I think, this year.
Oh God, yeah, I'd be surprised if he hit 7. But
so definitely a change, from one of the pioneers in, early touring in the late 90s, early 2000s, part of the Winnie crew, and traveling with Todd Branch, Dave Feldberg, and so much of the other traveling he's done all around the world. He's still traveling, but simply not competing at many of these events.
Yeah.
One Smash I'd like to say hi to, I don't know if he's still out there, would be Dan Harbeck. And I know Dan is a big supporter of the show, but Dan has talked quite a bit about being excited to share his thoughts and details from the event. And from what I can tell online, and as always, I can keep up with every comment, but Dan was very adamant to give the praise and accolades that were experienced by him on the amateur side of things.
Yeah.
For the American Tour. So it's certainly worth noting, and we'll get more details from him. He had, I think, a different set of expectations, and I'm guessing most of his expectations were, in fact, met. The problem is, I wasn't concerned about the amateur expectations or even, some of the pro expectations. I was concerned about what the tour and the event expectations were.
Yeah, from what I understand, other than the possibility of, I don't know if it's confusion or what, I'm not going to go into that, about whether or not the AMs would be on ESPN. From my understanding, the AMs that played enjoyed it and liked the course, and they were treated well with a great players pack. So I can't say to anything else because I haven't really looked into it, because it didn't interest me as far as whether or not the AMs were going to get on ESPN3 or not. So I don't know.
I know that's something that Stu Mullenberg has has tried to address, along with a few others, that the AMs were, in fact, at one point said that the top amateurs would be competing and be shown on ESPN, and then they had, at a later point in the game, changed their website and removed that, I don't want to call it a carrot, but had removed that component of the event to not feature any amateurs on the broadcast. And clearly, if you were one of those top amateurs and that was something you were kind of looking forward to, I know one guy had, I don't know if he's a smash shooter or not, but I know I saw him post on Facebook saying, when I found out Sunday morning that there was no chance of being on ESPN in the afternoon, I really just didn't even care about that round. It wasn't sanctioned. It wasn't playing for any additional prizes. I was there, with the idea of ESPN. I just really just didn't give a rip. And in my opinion, I don't know what's going on at a tournament. I don't think I'd ever, if I was seriously in a competitive, if I was in a competitive situation for possibly a win of any kind, I don't think I'd be like, what? I'm not going to feature here? Well, then I just don't care. I mean, I would second guess someone's real drive for playing if that's the only thing they were concerned about. But some people were clearly
they're not playing for rating, right?
Correct. They're not playing for rating.
They're
Yep.
not playing for money. Well,
I know, but to say, my only goal was ESPN, once before that couldn't happen, I no longer care about. I guess everyone, is driven by different things.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to drop you off this call because A, you're breaking up a little bit driving through wherever you're driving through, and B, my phone just told me it's going into low power mode because I've got 19% on it, 18%. And you're frankly, you don't interest me anymore.
Well, our 80-some viewers say otherwise.
95 still.
Okay, well, there you go. So,
and I have the volume.
My own damn podcast when I get home. Go there.
I have the volume up as high as it goes, and people are asking me to turn it up more. So I don't know.
All right. Good night, everybody. Let's hope I don't crash. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah, don't crash. Good luck. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Later.
All right, we got to get rid of that guy. Good Lord. Woo. Anyway, so Terry does have LTE. Time to bring him back in the video fold. Not when he's driving. I don't think LTE generally doesn't work very well in a car, especially for video. We've tried when we were on our way to GBO. You just couldn't get any signal because LTE in a moving car goes down to about 3G signal. So, but yeah. I was gonna say, what else is out? What else is out there? Yeah, there was the Kona Piste, I believe it's pronounced, coverage. That was pretty cool. I thought Jamie Thomas did a great job with that final round coverage. The first two rounds I thought were a little. They had to get some kinks worked out. The editing with Avery trying to talk over it, it was clearly off. There was a disconnect between the two. But when Jamie got the footage, I thought he did a spectacular job. I really do. I listened to the back nine. I didn't get a chance to listen to the front nine, but I listened to the back nine. And hello Simon, what a phenomenal comeback. But B, I think I think Jamie is really finding his groove, and more power to him. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Avery commentary. It was off. There was something, and I don't know if he was watching it and trying to keep up, but the cuts were very fast. So I think there was just there needed to be a little bit more communication or work between the two in order to make them sync up. And I've seen Terry do it. Terry usually does it himself. And I watched when Simon and Eagle did it for the, I think it was a Texas State Championships event back. We did it at the GBO in our hotel room, and they were hilarious. And so there's a groove you got to get into, and I don't know if Avery ever found that with the editing that was done. So, is Simon playing this weekend? Not in the States. I think he might be playing a tournament. He just won a tournament in Germany, but other than that, he might be taking a couple weeks off. So, It took forever for it to come out. The final round, I think we're spoiled, to be honest. I kind of feel like we are spoiled with next day coverage. Or if you're talking about the Terrycom one for Texas State, yeah, it did take a while. There were some issues and traveling from there to GBO and some cell coverage and stuff. So there's lots of stuff to reason. But if it's the Kona Piste stuff you're talking about, it was like what, 4 days later, 3 days later? I don't know, but I think we're spoiled. We've been very spoiled by the production quality of Jomez and CCDG and all the next day guys. I mean, Central Coast is phenomenal. Jomez is knocking it out of the park with their next day stuff. They're very good, but a lot of times they, sometimes not a lot of times. Sometimes they don't have that extra commentary, which can add another day or two because you got to line up the pros because they're not going to want to come over at 3 a.m. when you're done editing. So you get it done the next day. Then it's the upload time. Then it's the transfer time. It turns into 3 days. So we're spoiled. That's all I'll say. I'm fine with it not coming out for 2 or 3 or 4 days personally, but I know some people really want it after the fact. So let's see. Do you guys see an ADGT 2 happening? Yes, I think I do. I just don't think it'll be live. I think they're going to work with Billy, continue, and maybe Juice, and maybe it'll be on ESPN again. But I think it might be a post-edited type thing. That's my thought on how it would happen. So I don't know anything about the St. Louis Open, so I can't comment about it. Let's see here. Still waiting on FPO GBO videos. Yeah, I believe that was the Disc Eye, and I talked to him and his buddy who were doing it, and they said they weren't, not that they weren't in a hurry, but that they're very particular about their videos, that they want to make sure that they put out the perfect video and the high quality, and they've got a thing, and so they weren't in really any hurry to get them out. I don't know when they're going to come out. You might want to reach out to the Disc Guy. I'm sure we'll start seeing him soon. So it depends what else he's doing. So I'm the guy. He's a super nice guy. I chatted with him for a while and his buddy when I was doing some of the show, cutting the show and whatnot. And they put in some effort, man. Billy seems like a nice guy, but an 80s throwback. Yeah, I would say he's that sits about right. Not an 80s throwback. I'd go mid 90s. That's kind of Billy's heyday, and that's what he knows best. That's the time period, and Billy was very relevant up until the mid 2000s with the Clash DVDs and things like that. I helped out a little bit on one for I forget. I think it was when they were at High Stand Park. I talked with Billy about some stuff. I forget, a long time ago, but it was and since then he just hasn't. So he goes to his comfort zone, which is fine, and his comfort zone is Barry and Kenny and Schwebby and those guys of that were really big touring and predominantly dominant in that era. And so these younger kids, he doesn't know them as well as, say, a Terry does, or an Avery, or whoever else happens to be live commentating. And so Billy feels comfortable with Barry, which was why you probably saw Barry do the co-commentating. I thought it was really strange to have Barry do co-commentating when he's playing. It really came off as more of a casual round, or like an all-star kind of game, or a golf charity event. You have some guy talking, then hold on, it's my shot, and he goes up and shoots, and then he tells you about his shot. So I wouldn't necessarily say that was in the professional realm. Again, not a decision that I personally would have made. And I don't think we would have seen that had Barry been fighting for first place, where he had to focus on things. I think because Barry was solidly in fourth and not moving, that's why we saw Barry do what he did. And him and Kenny, I think they could be pretty good commentators if they stepped away from the game and focused solely on that. I got to commentate with Kenny at the 2011 Pro Worlds for, I think it was half a round when he stepped in. I remember because Will Schustrick got an ace on one of the holes at, I think it was at Pinto, and Kenny's cool as ice, man. That guy knows he's good. He's really good because he's sat and thought about it. He's really good at golf. He's good at disc golf, and he's good at commentating. The guy seems to do it all. So Yeah. Let's see here. Some of the FPO videos already came out. Good. Yeah. I honestly, I haven't paid much attention. When does Paige's contract with Prodigy end? I don't know. I think the end of the year, but again, that's not. I don't know. I'm not that tight with Paige. She's a lovely girl. I chatted with after GBO. A whole bunch of us went out to a place where we entertained some beverages and had a lot of fun. And her and Madison and Yuli was there, and Kat. Bobby showed up with Danny, and it was a lot of fun. So I chatted with her a little bit there, but nothing about Prodigy or DD or anything. So, how much money do you think the ADG spent on the American Open? I think if they said they spent almost 6 digits on the production, I'm assuming that includes the course rental and this and that. So I would say almost 6 digits, or right at 6 digits. So Alan says the Clash videos are entertaining but dated. Yeah. I would love to kind of, as a Smashbox, kind of revisit that realm, not DVD clearly, but maybe do a more exhibition rounds with some of the players and doubles, or worse shot doubles. I think would be a lot of fun to watch with some of the best pros, because we don't want to really draw it out. So I would love to get some of that going before events. If I could ever get to a point in Smashbox where I don't have to go to a regular job and I could just sit here during the day and we could line up these pros, and whether maybe we do a pay-per-view and all the money that we bring in goes to the pros, or I've had all sorts of ideas, but that would be something I'd love to do. Right now, it's strictly a matter of mostly me, and that I don't have the time off. I have a limited amount of time off throughout the year. I spend a lot of it doing Smashbox and not a lot of it doing family stuff like I probably should. But next year, we're scheduling in April, so we're scheduling a family Disney cruise, because the kids are going to be that age. So I'm looking forward to that already. It's a year away, and that's going to be my like next real vacation. So let's see here. Billy and Liz videos are super cheesy, but I like them heavy on the cheese. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just Billy. I mean, Kenny was great on that broadcast. Yeah, he was. He was phenomenal. I've said it 1,000 times. If you're listening, John Duzler, I would love to see that 2011 footage. Put it out on YouTube. Get it somewhere so we can all see it. I want to see how bad I really was at commentating. So, because Kenny blew it away. I remember it was really dusty course, and I'm an allergy kind of guy, so I was very sniffly. And I remember people commenting on that. So, let's see. Ultra World says Barry's shtick was reminiscent of MTV's Rock versus Jock shows. I remember those. That's because I'm old. So, let's see here. Anything else? Was the drone used during ADGT? I didn't see one. I saw a picture of a huge drone, like the size of a dude. But they also said, Billy went out there and said that the production company kind of took charge, that they had a lot of assets that they couldn't use or didn't get a chance to use that they wanted to. And I think that was a product of, they had an hour and a half to fill, and the round actually, there was no holdup. There was no waiting. So that round, those 6 holes on a wide open course, is going to go really fast. So I think that we saw the production company holding back these guys and telling them to slow down so they could play more commercials and more assets, and they still couldn't get to all of them, which, I'd love to see some of those ones that were in the bag that never came out. Maybe there's drone footage, maybe there's not. I was completely under the impression we were going to see live drone footage, and I was completely mistaken. So I would have loved to know what else they had going on for them. So, and then as you saw, the video or the round, I think the whole thing took about 1 hour and 10 minutes. So I think they still had 20 minutes to spare, which they just cut off. So alternate mixed shot dubs would be interesting. Yeah. Alternate shot mixed dubs. Sorry. Are you afraid of crews like ESPN taking over your jobs? No time soon, Stu. I don't fear that at all. First of all, ESPN rarely does their own broadcasting. They usually hire out different production companies, or only for real major events. If I can only hope if disc golf gets really big that I have a spot, maybe as an assistant or some sort of producer for the show. seeing as how I have the experience behind the camera, knowing what's going on. And I would hope that Terry has a job in front of the camera, because that's where he does best. So let's see here. What else we got here? Should there be TV delays? There should be a little bit. I mean, we can't expect these pros to go cold, but if we need to hold them for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, then that's something we're going to have to do. But that also comes along with when we have more camera coverage, because I can't hold them for necessarily all commercials. We hope to get to a point where we'll be able to bounce between different holes, show you highlights and things like that, and then have specific amount of time for commercials. Right now, we use commercials as filler. It's like, we love to have commercials because there are times that we have downtime and we don't have the resources to create a ton of cool assets and storylines and things like that. So we give you what we can. So the commercials, on one hand, I don't want to overplay them, but they do benefit us. So at some point, we need to get to the point where we have, what is it? Usually broadcast TV, I think you have about 8 minutes of commercials for every half hour of show. Somewhere along those lines, so we can get all the sponsors their due, but focus more on the golf for those other 22 minutes. And I don't know if it's going to be 8 minute to 22 minute ratio. That's a long time in the future for us, so we'll see. But yeah, it's it'll be interesting. The best footage was the preview of Ricky throwing a tee shot on the first tee. That was pretty good, and the course looked great. There was more commercials than golf. There was a lot of commercials. They had to pay some bills, as Billy said, which I hated that phrase. It sounds tacky, a word from our sponsors or something like that. Not pay the bills. That's I didn't like that either. Sorry, Billy. Not that you listen to this, Billy. Anybody that read Solo Cup's turn? I didn't see any of the tee markers. I guess I didn't really look that thing. A consultant producer on cam. Yeah, something like that. I would hope that would be more something in my position would be. So, and if not, I have a really nice job as an IT manager doing what I do. I'd love to be in something disc golf related, but if I don't, I don't. I've told the story before. When I was 20 years old, I thought to myself, I would love it if by the time I turned 40, I'm able to make a living at disc golf in the Masters field, thinking that disc golf was hopefully going to get bigger and bigger. It's 2 years away. And I tell you what, the Masters aren't making any more money than they were 20 years ago. So that isn't panned out. But I also never, ever, ever thought of myself doing this type of work for disc golf. That never was ever in my thought until about 5 years ago. Let's see here. Yeah, the demons going around. That was another common phrase that Billy used. And everybody has them. Everybody has the phrases that they fall back on. I'm not going to fault Billy for that. I knew what I was getting into when I got Billy, and you got exactly what you were looking for. Like, there's a proven history with Billy, and that's what you get. Some people love him. Some people hate him. Some people, as we said, some people love Terry's commentating. Some people hate it. Some people love Crazy John. Avery does a great job. It's all personal preference. Some people like a more casual move that Billy does, and Billy does that very well. But that's not my style. So that's just the way it works. So yeah, the Ziploc bag. I don't think those Tyler. I don't think those were trophies. I thought they were trophies at first too, but I think that was their cash. I think that's how they paid him in cash, was Ziploc bags full of cash. Because I originally said, "Oh man, they're handing them the trophies in bags. I want to see those cool trophies." But then I found out someone on site said that was their payout. So let's see here. What other interesting? Could you ever see a time when Smashbox sponsored an event and set it up with broadcasting in mind? Yeah, a couple of years, hopefully. I would love to be. I mean, hopefully we'll start out as a sponsor. Sponsored by Smashbox. Even if we're not broadcasting, maybe an event like the Masters Cup where Terry goes out there, or Beaver State where we can't live broadcast. But I think it would be kind of cool to have a big event that we have, and we were really lucky in that we have some equipment that we use, that we got some additional stuff at a really dirt cheap price. So we have the ability now to do more cameras than just 2, but it adds so much cost. I mean, the hardware is paid for, but there's camera guys, there's data costs. I'm working on a little sheet to find out what our average cost per camera runs per event, because I honestly don't exactly know, because we have it spread out amongst 3 different providers, and I need to work with Terry on that because some of the billing's under him. So we're working on becoming a lot more professional, getting more hard numbers set up for the company. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So Country South, he's got 5 Ubiquity APs coming to work, AC models, mobile streaming of disc golf without drops coming soon. Yeah, the Ubiquity APs, which we use at my job, I order the Pros usually because they're power over Ethernet, so I don't have to worry about having a power injector into them. A little tech talk here. And they work really well, but I don't know if they provide enough power or enough coverage for disc golf for an entire park. So, but we'll see. There's lots of things. I've also looked at Ubiquity, not just the APs, but the long range broadcast stuff that they have out there. The Ubiquity Air, I think it is, for something like Maple Hill, to set one at the Sap House and maybe have a shot that goes down, a quarter mile or a mile into the woods, and hopefully then broadcast Wi-Fi from there, because the Wi-Fi signal, it's not going to eat up as much data. It might be a better signal. We honestly haven't really tested, because Wi-Fi just isn't available at parks right now. So there's a lot of things that we could that we can play with. It's a matter of time and money. Can't really spend. I can't go to Terry and say, "Hey Terry, I want to spend a bunch of this money and practice and play with things," because that's his livelihood, not less so of mine. So we'll see. As I get toys and stuff, I get to play a little bit. I got a new mic stand for Terry because the mic stand that we had, I had to return to my boss who needed it. So we'll see how that works next week if he doesn't listen to this, we'll surprise him. What you're doing on a disc golf budget is unbelievable, says Stu. Thanks. Yeah, what we do, I mean, some people love it, some people hate it. There's a lot we have to learn. And I think we can, there's progress to be made. And I think with the help of a lot of other little things and some big things, some other companies like UDisc, that's gonna push our broadcast above and beyond. It's gonna push it better. It's gonna cut out things that we thought we needed extra people for. They're doing some things that we won't need another body for. It's like, oh wow, you can do that. Awesome. Let's bring that into the broadcast. So it's going to be some fun times this year. I'll say that. Yeah, Stu, you mentioned the Disc Golf Players Association yesterday. I don't know. Again, I think Jamie Thomas nailed it when he said, I don't know if there's necessarily a point to it yet. I could see there being a point if the PDGA, we have a PDGA board that makes some important decisions for the sport. I could see there being player representation for that. And I think there might be. I don't know the ins and outs of the PDGA very well. I know there's elected, but maybe the players work with the PDGA and say, hey, this is, all the touring pros throw in $10, and then every year that player has to go to these meetings. They can't skip out on them because we've seen that in the past where, we've had players that get on the board that get elected because they want to make a difference, but then it interferes with their touring schedule and they have to call in, or they miss, they miss meetings, and it gets to be a pain. And then maybe they'll either not run again because they realize the effort that it takes is going to interfere with their livelihood. So you would have to work with someone who has the player's interests in mind. What else? Everybody assumed it was for collective bargaining. Yeah, there's no bargaining. There's no collective. So let's see here. Giveaway. I don't have any giveaway. Unfortunately, I've got nothing to give away. So sorry. It would be nice if I did. They need to tie UDisc into live scoring. Says Climo Wizard. Yeah. Unions are no longer popular in the U.S. True. Yeah, they're not popular. They seem to be popular enough in professional sports, but you're right. As far as general unions for companies and things like that, I'm not going to get political here, but yeah, they've really come on down times, especially here in Wisconsin, where my wife, who's a teacher, and she's not a teacher anymore, she's in administration now. the whole teachers collective, the union was quote unquote busted by Act 10 and Scott Walker, and there's good and there's bad that's come of that. And yeah, it's different. It's interesting. So how about a shout out for mental health awareness? May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Yeah, shout out for that. Mental health is very important, and I think it's definitely a subject that needs to be addressed more. There's a lot of people out there that there's a lot of people I think that need it, and it's a joking manner, but there's a lot of people out there that truly do. So if there's a shout out to that, more power to you. There's a lot of things that need shout outs. There's a lot of causes and efforts. There's St. Jude Hospital, which is close to my heart. My daughter was born with what's called anaphyseal, which means she had a hole in the back of her skull where her skull didn't come together. And so when at 20 weeks, we found out that the doctors called it gray matter, but its brain was actually pushing out and bulging. So, and hers was very unique in that normally for this type of procedure, there's a skin covering, but for my daughter, there was no skin. So it was literally exposed to whatever elements there were in the womb. So yeah, I mean, Children's Hospital and we brought her to Wisconsin Children's Hospital, which is a fantastic facility, and they've done wonders when she was born. She went through like 3 or 4 surgeries, and she's got a shunt now, and she's doing very well, and she's very healthy. Delayed, as obvious, because what they did is when she was born that night, they end up cauterizing what was on the outside of the skull and stitching her up, and then later she had some bone grafts and things like that. So we've children's hospitals to me are, I mean, personal. So it's a great organization. So do I have to pay 2 entry fees for both personalities? Tyler Durden, you might. I should go back and watch Fight Club. It's been a long time since I've seen that. And I'll say this, I was the only person in the theater, I think, when I saw it, because I'm old, kids ask your parents, that saw him flash in the beginning. I saw it, and I was like, what? It was like one frame, and I caught it. And I remember, and I didn't know at the time. I was like, what's going on with that? Like, that's weird. I thought it was a screw up in the film. And later on, obviously after the fact, I found out that it wasn't, that it was, the whole split personality thing. I'm past spoilers now for Fight Club. So yes, the whole spoiler thing. So did Sanders win tonight? I don't know. I didn't look. So let's see here. Sanders won Oregon. Hillary won Kentucky. If we want to get political, as much as I'd love to see Sanders do something, I think he's done. I mean, he can keep going, but it's gonna end up a Hillary Trump thing. So I just think that's unfortunately where we're headed. So I don't love any of them particularly. There's not one politician for a while that actually that's not true. I was young, but that's got me excited. Obama got me excited, but yeah, we've seen where that went. It hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been great either. So yeah, that's life. So yeah, Alan Rosie says, "Wow, Johnny, amazing story. Thanks for sharing." Yeah, that's like I said. That's actually she's. I jokingly give my wife a hard time that was the reason I missed Memorial that particular year. It was like clearly it was 4 years ago, because my daughter had to go in for her second surgery when they took a bone graft from the side of her skull and put it back to where where the close didn't happen, and I'd scheduled my Memorial flight like 6 months in advance because I figured my daughter was gonna be born in December. March would be 3 months. My wife can handle a 3-month-old, but then we found out all the surgeries and this and that, so I had to literally eat a flight cost. Well worth it. But I give my wife a hard time every once in a while saying that, she made me miss the Memorial in 2011, I think. Yeah, 2011. 2012. It was the 2012 Memorial because my daughter was born in 2011. So, so, hey, Terry's on the call. Hey, Terry, you're joining. Just like I joined his thing as well. I was actually just getting this, starting to get this wrapped up. I've kind of run its course. We talked a little bit about the ADGC. I keep saying ADGC. It's ADGT. There's no C in there. I don't know why I keep throwing that in there. We talked about Game of Thrones. We talked about mental health awareness. We talked about my daughter. Talked about a lot of stuff Stu brought up. The quick thing about the union. Talked about some politics. I think we had a pretty good after show. How many people left? 81. I don't understand what you 81 people are doing, but I love you all. So Stu says there's 12 people. No. So yeah, I don't really have too much. A key to Thrones is to go back and watch old episodes. Yeah, the key to Thrones is reading the books. That's the key. So there's all sorts of clues they throw around in there, though. So, Chris, yeah, I think that's you said when I joined Terry's proto show as well. So I'm not paying you anything, but Stu, I think you're wrong. It says 12. You say 12 left, but my thing says 80 watching now, and I've got the Google backend analytics. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining. I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully we do get some sort of midweek update from Terry, whether it's, I don't know if it'll be live like this or if he'll, just put out some sort of Periscope or maybe a YouTube video, but I look forward to it because I'm excited I always get excited for the Masters Cup because I love the De La course. We didn't even really hardly talk. I know we talked with Doss about a bit about the golf course. I don't know how I feel about that yet. Hopefully, I'm sure it's a fantastic facility, but there's something about ending. It would have been different if they would have gone De La Golf Course De La, ending on top of the world. It's kind of a classic move that they're taking out, but I get it. They want to come more into, I guess, this century with the more sprawling, larger course. So, Devin aced it today again. Did he ace gravity again or not? Because that's what he did a couple years ago. So, all right, guys, I'm ending the show. After show was great. That's kind of it. So, thanks everybody. Have a good night.